Well, it's good to be back. Hello, everybody. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. My goodness, another day. I don't know how I do this 5 days a week. And now that I'm doing it, and after the holiday, I'm like, what? Let's get that energy up, guys. Come on in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. What is up, everybody? We actually have an update in the Sebastian Rogers case, and we're checking off the marks. We're going to go over the update, and we're also going to go over Nina, the ex that talks about Chris. All right, that's wild enough. But I'm in a silly mood again, darling. I literally, what's up, Yvette? Good to see you, my friend. I just met with one of our crime crew members. She was in California. She said, "Hey, I'll be in San Jose." I said, "Hey, I live in San Jose." So we met up, had some lunch. Awesome. Shout out to Jamie. I posted a picture on the community page. If any of y'all are ever out here in San Jose, hit me up. All right, so I want to welcome Daisy Duke, love that name, one for becoming a Crime Crew official member, and Leah Cash for starting off the $2 super chat. All right, so we want justice for Sebastian. Right now, we really want to, we want Sebastian to be brought home. We know that Seth is hurting. Chris and Katie, I can't say enough about them, but you'll see today. You'll see. So what's up, everybody? Come on in. Country Bumpkin. I can't help but like to say that name. So come on in. What's up? Shadow, how you doing? Teresa, what's up? Sadie's mama, I hope you're doing well. Commander Alpha Turkey, what's up? Good to see everybody today. Come on. Yeah, I got my energy up. See, I was really tired before I came on here, and now I'm like, all right, come on, guys, bring it in. Let's bring that energy. I just ate lunch with one of the crime crew members, came home, got my episode ready, and now we're ready to go. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Carrie, my girl. Hey, you're going to have to listen for a while, Carrie, because it ain't coming that fast. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. All right, listen. First, we're going to start off with Sebastian Rogers, still missing. We're now at over 644 days. Is that right? Yes. All right. Well, listen. Update. Chris Proudfoot was, in fact, in Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. That is a big confirmation in this case, because I don't know why we didn't know about that long ago. They don't have the devices. They didn't tell us anything. This case has not been a criminal case, and there are no suspect. Yes, Carrie, stay here. I got you. All right. Now, here's the thing, guys. I know that it's a shocker, and people, there's a lot of things that are coming out that people didn't know. So we're going to, if you look at my title, shocking update, Chris Proudfoot was in Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. I ask you that. All right. Yep. Isn't that something? He was in Memphis. Well, listen, guys, there's a lot of things that change that are game changers for me in this case. There's a lot of game changers, and I might just quickly throw this out there for those of you that are just cannot wait, because I do have some really good notes here that I want to share with you on what's happened in the last 2 months. And we've got a crime crew member, guys. When I scroll down here about what the FBI is saying, I gotta tell you something. A crime crew member reached out to me, and if you look here at the actual official updates and things that At Night Media has said, did any of you guys know that there was a ransom? At Night further asserted there was a ransom, and it was on one of the crime crew members that came to me. And at first I kind of didn't believe it, and I was like, well, not that I didn't believe it, but you know what people do. At Night further asserts that a ransom tip was received June 23rd, 2025, allegedly containing USDT cryptocurrency demand, a digital wallet address, and evidence suggesting that Sebastian was trafficked to Cancun, Mexico. Now, if you guys didn't hear about that, I didn't hear about that, because guess what, guys? I tried to continue covering the Maddie case as the information came in, and I didn't want to cover anything that I wasn't sure of. So that being said, as I was doing my research today, I came across a ransom tip where they said they had Sebastian in Mexico. And no, it's not debunked. It's not debunked, Carrie. That actually happened. Michelle, welcome. Thank you for gifting a membership. Please, please, please thank Michelle if you get it. It was not debunked. It's debunked that it's not Sebastian, but it's not debunked about what actually happened. This did, in fact, happen. And the person that this happened to sent me all the information. And at first I was skeptical, but then I started doing my research and for sure this did happen. I'm not saying that Sebastian is in Mexico trafficked, but this did happen. And we're going to do an episode later this week or next week where we're going to talk about the corruption in this case. All right. There's another one. Well, the one I have the person that it happened to with the proof. I don't come without proof and I don't come without facts. I don't just say shit out the side of my mouth. And if I do, I tell you it's speculation. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that that is going to be a separate episode. Otherwise, we're going to be here for like 8 hours today. Okay. But I am going to bring that to you. And let me just quickly say to you, let me just quickly tell you some of the things in the last couple of months. And one being that really pissed me off was when Seth was out there looking for his son and nobody was helping him. In fact, nobody was just not helping him. They were making fun of him and dressing up like a fat boy, calling him fat and piggy and a pig and all that, just making fun of Seth. That's the only one that's been out there looking for Sebastian. All right. That being said, let's get into the past 2 months. And just real quick, I'm going to read this. Be patient. You're going to see what At Night says. And they're credible. It's credible. I don't care what side you're on. I don't care if you're the green team, the blue team, the black team, the no team. I'm going to take whatever evidence I can get that's factual and I'm going to put it out there because I don't take sides on my own side. All right. So what's up, Poppy Love? Good to see you, everybody. Come on in. Relax. I'm going to give some memberships today, guys. It's the beginning of the month. It's Christmas month. We got to help more people. And at the end of the episode, I need your help with an autistic child, a 13-year-old autistic child that still believes in Santa Claus. And there's nobody to get him gifts because he's 13 years old and he likes little kids' toys. He likes art. He likes all that. And he looks like Sebastian a lot to me. So a crime crew member reached out to me and said, Jay, I need your help. My grandson doesn't have parents, whatever, bad circumstances, and we want to help him. He's a year older than the kids that they'll donate toys to, but we want to help. So we're going to get to that and want to stop you from this case. I don't know how Seth wanted to stop people from this case, but I can agree to disagree. And if you show me the proof, that's all it takes. So let's go again. All right. Yeah. What do you mean, Poppy Love? You guys talk in chat. I have a lot to get to today. I've never, ever seen Seth trying to deter people from helping him. Have I heard bad things about him, like him being kind of pervy and hitting on girls that want to help him hooking up with the girl that T-Rev was now, I don't care. I don't care who you want to have sex with or who you hit on. That doesn't make any difference. Sebastian's still missing. Let's go. All right. And hey, you know what, Blueberry Hill, please shoot me an email with that evidence and I'll put it out there. If I can get evidence that says to the contrary, I'll show it. I have nothing to lose here. I mean, this is my coverage and we need to find Sebastian. All right. I don't know, Beautiful Mess. I'm not sure who you are or what your name is. So I don't know if I got your email. You gotta, why don't you send me another one? My mods will drop a link with my actual email, not the cases. All right. Got a lot to get to today. So that being said, some of you guys email me and I don't know your name from your YouTube name. And I have no idea because everybody's always asking for help, for money, for something. And I can't do everything. So, all right, Jay, Seth has done more than any other parent in the search and gather to help find Sebastian. All right, let's get to it. And then you'll see what I'm talking about. Chris Proudfoot was in Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. Now, this can change the case quite a bit. Oh, the RICO. Blueberry, I am so not going to get into that RICO, and only because it's caused a YouTube war. I don't want anything to do with the RICO at all, but I hear you. I know about it, and thank you for sharing. All right, listen. Here's a summary of the recent developments in the last 2 months in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, and at night creative intelligence and Federal Bureau of Investigation are saying. Late November 2025, investigators from Sumner County publicly declared that the photograph circulating of Sebastian, which some claimed it was, is not him. So I got to tell you guys, I had people emailing me pictures, different pictures saying, Jay, I swear it's Sebastian. There's no way it's not. Well, guys, I didn't email every single person back. It wasn't Sebastian. Right. And I can't email everybody back, but I'm going to tell you it wasn't Sebastian. Next, case remains open. Authorities continue to urge the public to submit credible information. But I got to tell you, I think there's corrupt police. I think this whole case has been corrupted. And I'm going to tell you why on the next episode. I've already told you why before. Yeah, no, the RICO is not part of what I'm doing, and I don't want anything to do with it. The people that are in the RICO are all going to war on YouTube. And I'm not trying to go to war on YouTube. I'm trying to go to war for the children that are missing, the children that are abused, the children that are no longer with us. All right. Now, I know it's part of the missing case, but right now, this has nothing to do with me. And I do know about that. And I'm being nice here by saying I don't want to bring the RICO to my channel. All right. So I hear you, Blueberry, but I don't want any part of that. So that being said, maybe we'll do another episode on that. I don't want to be one-sided. All right. All right. Now check this out. Case remains open. What the FBI said September 4th, they issued an update about the case, reaffirming it's still actively searching, and they're offering a reward up to $50,000 for information. I've seen higher amounts. I'm not sure what the proper amount is. If you guys know, let me know. I see different things. What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody rolling in. All right. Now, okay, so in the FBI update, they laid out the details on the night of Sebastian's disappearance. Sebastian did not take his phone, money, shoes, or clothing, which suggests that he did not leave voluntary with a plan. He didn't just walk off. FBI also addressed the flashlight theory that the moving flashlights on the security cam, that to this day, people are still making videos about those lights. All right. The lights were determined to come from a distant truck headlight, not someone on or near the foot of the home. And that's why FBI is asking that anybody that saw cars in that area around that time that didn't belong there, please contact the FBI or anybody that you know that's involved in the case. Person in the green hoodie, debunked. All right. We don't know. Law enforcement located, questioned the person. They were not considered a suspect. FBI reiterated its call for tips, encouraging people with information to call SCSO or TBI or FBI. All right. Then what we're talking about and the lead that I'm talking about today is from At Night Media. And what brought me into that, what grabbed my attention was this ransom from Mexico and the person that it happened to. So I wanted to highlight that for you because we are going to do another episode on that. All right, July 1st at night, publicly called for immediate and comprehensive federal intervention, arguing the case had crucial leads and investigative gaps remained unaddressed. And I can see that now with that whole ransom and the scare it caused and the lack of involvement that they did in the case. All right. So, I mean, there's no further updates. There's a lot going on here. November 9th at night posted, despite the frustration, they remain under the assumption of survival, emphasizing that they haven't given up hope that Sebastian's alive. All right. So they do believe that Sebastian's alive. And I wanted to show you this real quick. That is the original post from the person that did the video on that we're going to watch today. I know it's hard to read that, so let me just show you this real quick. Let me put this up there, and I just want you to see Trev Time is the one that Nina Gomez, Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife, joined last night, a year ago, for a pre-recorded interview. She reached out wanting to share her story regarding her experience with Chris Proudfoot, her fight to protect her daughter, and much more. That is the original post. That's where it originated. He's pulled all of his stuff down. There's nothing on the channel, so I found it on the. I found it on. I found it several places, but the best one was from JLR. So I wanted you to know where it originated from and what it is before I just start playing it, right? Because I don't like just putting stuff that nobody knows what the hell where it came from. I could have just made it up. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Here's the update, and then we're gonna get into it. All right, let's go. All right, yeah, it's not T-Rev, Trev. His name is Trevor, and it's Trevor time. All right, let's listen. We might have to listen twice. Let's go.
So I'm not sure if you guys have seen At Night's recent post on the Sebastian Rogers case, but they are claiming now that they have independently confirmed that Chris Proudfoot, Sebastian's stepfather, was in Memphis at work during the time frame that Sebastian Rogers went missing. They say that not only do they have an eyewitness who saw Chris Proudfoot in Memphis around the time that Sebastian went missing, but they also have him on video surveillance at St. Jude working on his vehicle, specifically his truck, which they say is now being re-examined at his residence to confirm ownership. They go on to say that this does not rule out the possibility that others also traveled to Memphis. We confirmed several other factors that have shifted our focus to other individuals previously unthought of. And right now their focus is on non-resident individuals, meaning not Katie or Chris Proudfoot, and vehicles that are in the neighborhood of.
And that's what I wanted to also tell you. I don't know if that got across to you correctly on my last episode. All right. So what we're saying and what we're doing here, that's fine. I see somebody heavy. I see a couple people heavy in chat, not happy about what I'm saying. And that's okay. You're not going to like every channel. It's not for you, but this is my belief. And this is what I'm saying. This I've believed forever and ever and ever. And I still believe that Katie was the last person with Sebastian. He did not leave on his own or willingly. He didn't take anything. And either somebody took him and Katie knew it and he's out there somewhere still, or something bad happened and he's out there buried or, under something. And already by this time, 2 years later and over, he's no longer with us. So I don't know. I don't think he's with us any longer, statistic wise, and an autistic teenage boy. I don't know that that's a high trafficking, that's not a typical high trafficking person. And they're not going to, that's just not what they're going for. Right. So yes, Trishy, I stay on the side of reality. I ground myself, listen to the facts, and then I present it. Again, I'm not the FBI. I'm not law enforcement. I'm bringing it to you. And if you don't agree with me, that's okay. You can respectfully agree to disagree. Now, we have a goal. If you guys can help with the goal, that'd be great. Like, subscribe, membership, all that. I'm going to give some memberships once we start the Nina video. All right. Let's do this one more time for those that rolled in the chat, and then we'll get into it.
So I'm not sure if you guys have seen At Night's recent post on the Sebastian Rogers case, but they are claiming now that they have independently confirmed that Chris Proudfoot, Sebastian's stepfather, was in Memphis at work during the time frame.
And now, guys, I've reported on SF Investigates. I've reported on lots of things that people bring to the table. All right. So hopefully we can get law enforcement to take a look at this. And right, we're not law enforcement. We're not going to make anything happen, but these people can, and they're trying, and they want to bring Sebastian home. Anyway, they can.
That Sebastian Rogers went missing. They say that not only do they have an eyewitness who saw Chris Proudfoot in Memphis around the time that Sebastian went missing, but they also have him on video surveillance at St. Jude working on his vehicle, specifically his truck, which they say is now being re-examined at his residence to confirm ownership. They go on to say that this does not rule out the possibility that others also traveled to Memphis. We confirmed several other factors that have shifted our focus to other individuals previously unthought of. And right now, their focus is on non resident individuals, meaning not Katie or Chris Proudfoot, and vehicles that are in the neighborhood of Sebastian's residence and the area of Chris Proudfoot's work, which at the time of Sebastian's disappearance was at St. Jude Children's Hospital in Memphis. So Chris was in Memphis reportedly, and although he was not on the clock and physically working in the middle of the night, he was seen by an eyewitness and he is seen on camera, allegedly. So this doesn't rule out the possibility of Chris Proudfoot.
Again, there's no possibilities ruled out anywhere. So don't get excited. And guys, we don't attack people in chat. So if you're not being respectful and people are getting upset, well, then you got to go. All right. What's up, 5D? I've used some of your information. Thank you. Guilty of crime and everyone in chat. I see people trying to change the way y'all think. It's disgusting. And the ones blaming Seth, of course, it's cruel liars. Seth is 100% innocent. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. Come on in. And again, guys, it's all opinion. There's no criminal case, nothing. All right. So, yes, Holly. And that's why we brought another mod into the mix, because it gets crazy. And we don't put up with that in chat. We don't let people attack me or the people in chat. All right, let's go. We got a long one today. So, yes, Darlene, my girl. All right. Yes.
Having knowledge of where Sebastian is or what happened to him completely, but it does indicate that he was not physically in Hendersonville around the time that Sebastian Rogers would have gone missing. Obviously, this is something that Chris has been saying since the very beginning, but the fact that At Night is now saying they have proof that Chris was in Memphis.
So if you don't listen to the whole thing and you're in chat already saying, wow, we knew that. Well, do you have the person that witnessed? Do you have the person that has the timestamps that may have a video, whatever? No, none of us have that, right? It's all speculatory until FBI or somebody in law enforcement comes out and says it. James, thank you so much for the $1.49 super sticker. I'm assuming that you are starting the train. Choo, choo, as we say. All right, let's go. Modding round here been wild lately. Yes, Miss Kelsey, it has.
Between February 25th and February 26th, I would say that that's pretty big. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen At Night's recent post.
All right, so did you hear that? They have a witness. We knew that before. The witness puts him somewhere different. This just came out again. This is not law enforcement, and it's not a statement from law enforcement. So take it how you will. All right, that's a long time. My day one Sadie's mama member for 20 months. Thank you. And Midnight Lace gifted a Guilty of Crime membership. Please thank her. I'm going to gift 5 memberships once we get started. All right, and Nina. All right, let me show you. Let's pull this down. All right, I don't want my face up there that big. But let's do this. And it's kind of hard to find that interview anymore. That interview, I'm going to show you so you don't think it's T-Rev. All right. It's Trevor Lee. This guy is the one that did this original video with Nina, and everybody used it. However, if you go back to Trevor Lee or Trev Time, not T-Rev, Trev Time, he pulled all of his stuff off. That's Trevor. All right. Shout out to Kimberlim, new subscriber. Welcome. Law enforcement doesn't say it, then I don't believe it. And hey, more power to you. You probably don't watch YouTube very often because everybody on YouTube talks, and it's not law enforcement. So I'm assuming you're not a big YouTube fan. All right. Yes, don't get them confused, please. My Chihuahua's name is Trevor. Y'all are funny. All right, let's get into it. It's a long one. This is Trevor Lee or Trev Time, and he deleted it. All right. So now we have JLR investigating, and that's where we're playing it from. All right. I don't want to miss any of it. So, and I'll figure out the best way to do this once we get started. I want to make sure you guys can hear it.
Into my children.
Absolutely. And I think it's a story that needs to be heard. So if you want to just open us up with the beginning of your story and just get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, my name is Nina. I live here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I have 3 amazing children. I met Christopher back when I was 35 years old. I met him on a dating website. Don't know what I was doing there, I guess. I wish I could take it back.
Hey.
I started talking to him. He was stationed out in San Diego.
Let me make sure it doesn't go too fast for some of you, and let me know if the words are okay, if you want them on the top or the bottom, because you're going to be buckled up for a while. Nina Drew, good to see you here, my friend. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I think Seth is broken by the loss of his son. I would have to agree. He's doing much better than I would if I were in his predicament. All right. So that being said, again, he's a victim in my opinion. He's a family member. He's a dad of a missing, and we don't know, right? A missing child. We don't know if he's still alive. All right, let's go. Y'all asked for it. We're here to bring it to you. Let's go. I'm going to gift some memberships, guys, right now. So please make sure that your membership gifting is on so that you can receive it. All right. Thank you. Let's go.
And we started talking back and forth. Started wanted to get to know him a little bit more. I thought he was a great person in the beginning, but everybody is always perfect in the beginning, right?
Right. Yeah. Ask my wife.
We fail to see the red flags, and we fail to notice things that we should in the beginning. So he made a couple of trips out here.
Yeah.
Asked me to marry him, and
What?
I made the mistake by saying I do.
Wow, man. Don't use dating sites, guys. Oh my goodness. Kelvin, I love you. And I love you too, Krista. This has been my theory since day one. Chris knows what Katie did. He's helped her cover it up. He's been shielding her. That's it. That's why he shields her. That's why she cannot talk to Seth, even though her and Seth were fine before Sebastian went missing. They were able to hand Sebastian off and communicate just fine. What happened after Sebastian went missing? That Katie can't all of a sudden talk to Seth alone. Does that make sense? Make it make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, guys, then it's probably a lie. All right, I'm going to give some memberships.
So we got married. Eventually, we moved to San Diego.
I was covering the Madeline Soto case back then.
I wasn't really ever prepared to move away again from New Mexico. I had went through a divorce a couple years prior to meeting Christopher. And my first husband was military as well, but I was married to him for 9.5 to 10 years, almost 10 years. We made it.
Thank you.
He's the father of my other 2 children.
What's up?
And I told him that, I was remarrying and we were moving to San Diego. And he wasn't really.
We're going to listen for a little bit while I give, but I have to say, Commander Alpha Turkey, that has been the problem the entire time, that nobody could speak to Katie without Chris. In every single interview that she's done with Chris, she shuts up. She looks like she looks like she has a ball and chain on her legs and she's handcuffed and she looks all depressed. And I don't want to say what I normally do, but yes, that's what I believe. I believe he's controlling the narrative just the way he wants to. Choo, choo. Thank you, Holly. All right.
For it, he was kind of against it due to the fact that he was stationed out at Fort Bliss, which is in El Paso, Texas. And that's about like 3.5 hours from Albuquerque. So he was, he would always see his kids like every weekend. And he's like, how am I going to see my kids? And I said, well, we'll figure it out. So we packed up after we said I do. I don't remember the exact date when I got married to Christopher. And maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe that is a good thing.
We moved into the naval housing out there. And my son, Noah, was 3 at the time. And my oldest was about 7 years old. And she was telling me 7.
And you guys always want me to, you guys don't mind. This is like I said, if you're doing something, if you're shopping, if you're driving, if you're whatever, buckle up. We're going to be here for a while. All right, let's continue. I just gifted 5 memberships. I hope people that want them get them. All right, good to see everybody rolling in. If you did just roll in, you might want to go back after this.
So I thought everything was great in the beginning. I mean, everything's always perfect, like I said. And then I started seeing bits and pieces of how Christopher really was. I was a stay-at-home wife. Due to my son being so young, I wanted to, enjoy those years with him. Then my daughter went to school right down the street. So I was home every single day. And
Aw, big hugs.
It just started seeing like Christopher change like night and day. It was awkward. I felt really uncomfortable after a while.
Does
we would
anyone
argue about just the smallest thing?
Now listen, does anybody think that Chris changed, or does anyone think that the only couple of times that she saw him and then said, she got love bombed, they got married, and then he changed? I don't think he changed. I think he was just not being who he is. Now, here's the difference between Nina and Katie. All right, the difference between Nina and Katie, and I've watched other clips of Nina. Nina is a sassy Latina that's not going to put up with shit, and she's not going to sit there while Chris talks and says, "Be quiet, woman." She's not going to sit there all meek and quiet, right? She's not going to let Chris run the show. And I believe Katie's fine with being submissive, fine with being passive, lets him take the narrative, and he knows what happened, so he can control what she says and what she doesn't say. Nina is not like Katie.
And a lot of it also had to do with how he disciplined my children.
Yes, Lisa. Yes. Listen, the discipline of the children. Come on.
I'm very protective over my kids.
Me too.
And I didn't want somebody else to discipline my children.
Now, do you think it changed when he married Katie and got this autistic boy that may not be may not be the way that Chris wants? Do you think that it changed? Do you think that he treated Nina's children any different than Sebastian? Do you think so? I don't. Not when I hear about the spankings and giving away his, was it a reptile or a snake? And then they go look at reptiles and, oh, we're here because Sebastian loves reptiles. But didn't they take it away for a punishment? Make that make sense.
I didn't want him talking ugly to them, hurting their feelings.
No.
And I remember one point in time where Christopher spanked my son really hard, and I got very upset with him, and I said, "You can't do that to my son." I said, "He's 3. He's a baby still. Like, you can't just do whatever you want."
What about an out of control autistic boy?
He got upset, and he's like, "Well, he needs to learn. He needs to man up. He's a man." I said, "He's 3. He's 3."
A man at 3, huh? Interesting. I would have split up with him then.
And as time went on, like, I could see him getting more aggressive and more aggressive.
What about the back?
I stood up for my kids all the time. I didn't like how he talked to them, how he wanted them to stand in the corner all the time, and I didn't like that. So I stayed a little bit longer. I ended up eventually getting pregnant with Faith. And it was probably, I want to say, maybe early.
My guy, Jumpa's in the house. Welcome. I don't know if that's your picture or not, Jumpa's, but if it is, you have some damn pretty eyes. Sorry. I didn't get to tell you when I see you in chat all the time. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here. Right? Yes. Not only that, but do you think he treated Sebastian any different than spanking and trying to put him in check? I don't think so. But Katie's not talking. If they ever split up, it's on. It's World War III. Watch.
September that I found out that I was pregnant with Faith. And I remember telling him that I was pregnant, and he wasn't happy about it. So I called my parents back home here in Albuquerque, and I told them the situation. And I said, well, Christopher wants me to get an abortion with Faith.
There you go.
And my parents said, no, you're not. And I said, I'm not. So I know he was very upset about me keeping Faith at that point in time.
Hey, what about that recent case? I cannot for the life of me. We covered it heavily. The little boy that the mom gave over to the boyfriend and told him to man up. They made him do sit up. They made him sit on the wall and they told him to man up. And so, and they hung out on the, damn, I can't remember what his name is. A little boy, exact same thing, turned up. They said he walked out of the door. No way he could get out of the door. And bam, I'll find it. Exactly. Man up. And they beat him till he was no longer alive. That happens a lot, but that's why I'm not surprised by Chris and any of this, right? It happens every day. What's the difference between any other case and this?
So I came home. My grandma had gotten very sick.
Yep.
And I decided to come home.
Yes, Vu. Elijah Vu. Yes. Sorry, Elijah Vu. That little boy, beautiful little angel. I'd have took him, and I don't want any more little kids. Elijah Vu told him to be a man. All right. He ended up, we know how he ended up.
After that, I just kind of stayed here in New Mexico because at that time we were getting along and we were just like newlyweds, and that should have never happened. But I saw things, like I said, that were just, it wasn't right about him. So I moved home and I did my whole pregnancy by myself. And so I finally, my friends back there in California, my neighbors right across the street were actually calling me. I had one good friend, which is still a really good friend of mine to this day. She called me and said, Nina, Christopher's getting rid of your furniture and getting rid of your stuff. And I was like, what? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like he's giving away like your little, your home decor stuff. Like he's giving away.
I mean, guys, if you guys are on these YouTube streets, I know that Chris goes around the YouTube streets and he bullies people and he talks to women like they're lower than low pieces of trash. He has no filter. So what's the difference? What is the difference between how he treats probably Katie and how he treated Sebastian? He has no filters on these YouTube streets. His stepson is missing, the one he cares about so much. And you think that any of that has changed? And the person you're talking about on the treadmill is little Corey Michelow. We're going to cover that case next week because Grandma Rebecca Michelow wants to keep his name out there. All right. So Corey Michelow, Elijah Vu, we see it all the time. What's the difference? He stays in the mean streets too, Nana. Yes. Not even the streets that are good, the dark side.
My beds, and I was like, no way. So this was about Easter time.
Yep.
So I had went out there. I made a special trip. I asked my mom to go with me, and Isabella and Noah, they went with me, and I was still pregnant with Faith at the time. So we made it. I didn't tell him that we were going out there. So I kind of, wanted to see myself because the neighbor also.
Now imagine if he's holding back. I can't imagine that he goes on these YouTube streets and doesn't hold back a little. I'm sure he holds back some of the language, some of the things. So if he's holding back and Miss Kelsey's saying exactly, he's always shows us who he is. And I'm sure there's a little bit of restraint. It's not good. If he acts like that in front of us, how does he act behind us? And you guys know, what I know. Oh, I was gifted a membership. Well, welcome to the Crime Crew Official.
Informed me that there was people at the house that shouldn't have been there. So I guess I kind of wanted to sneak up on him and see what he was doing, right?
Thank you.
And we pulled up into the driveway into the driveway, and he was coming out the front door with a bed that he was giving to the neighbor which was my son's bed. And the look on his face.
Thank you, Dale.
Was like a deer in headlights. And he dropped the bed right there in the front yard, went back in the front door, slammed the door and locked it on my kids. And my mom told me at that point, she said,
thank you.
I can't believe he's doing this. Like, what is he doing? So I go in and I unlock the door and I said, what are you doing? I said, are you giving away my stuff? And he had nothing to say. So he brought the bed back in because I knew that's what he was doing.
So he's not only a narcissist, but he enjoys seeing people miserable. He wants to get back at them. And so he does shit like that. Who does that? Except somebody that just dark. I don't care what. I don't care if I've ended a relationship, a friendship, a job. I always part ways so that I'm not burning down bridges and making people upset. And Jumpas, I always see you on the streets, and I know you know who he's buddied up with on these streets. And that's the worst of the worst, you guys. If that says anything, well, it does say a lot. All right. Shadow, what's up? Joseph, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The $2 super sticker. And I love the black cat. All right, let's keep going. Yeah. Who does that? I know who does that. Vindictive, awful, ugly people that want to see other people hurting. They enjoy your misery and my misery. I don't do that. I don't enjoy other people's misery.
And, the neighbor across the street, like I said, told me.
Right.
So we stayed there. It was super uncomfortable. My mom felt the tension between the both of us. My children felt it as well. And at the time, Faith started moving. Like I could start, I felt her moving around in my stomach. And I told Christopher, I said, look, I said, put your hand on my stomach. I said, can you feel her move? He said, no.
He's probably like, get an abortion.
When you're pregnant, you always think that your spouse.
Not him. You think if he didn't want a brand new baby that he wanted somebody else's autistic teenage or he wasn't a teenager then, somebody's autistic child that probably has, issues and a little bit of anger. We know how that goes, right?
It's going to be super supportive and be super excited.
Yes, ma'am.
That you're pregnant and bringing a life into this world for him, right? But I didn't get that. I didn't get that support that I needed. So we had a conversation my mom brought up between Christopher, myself, and her. And she had said, do you not want Faith? Like, do you not want this baby? And Christopher stated to my mom, he wasn't happy. And he said, what if one of them dies? What if Faith dies or Nina dies
What if Sebastian dies? I don't think that it was. I honestly do not think this was premeditated. What happened with Sebastian? I don't think that there was this grand scheme where Katie was going to get rid of Sebastian in the middle of the night and hand him off. And he's been gone for 2 years, where Katie and Chris are financially supporting him at this unknown location. That's just not reality. Sometimes, guys, it's just what it seems like. Everything is not a conspiracy. And that's what I try to bring to these YouTube streets. What you see sometimes is what you get. And don't always look at the bad side and assume, oh, well, she's not credible. She's probably lying. Even if 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% is a lie, number one, that's on her. If it ever comes back that she's lying, that's on her, number one. And number two, it's her credibility. I just don't see. I don't know why she would do that. What would make her do that? Yeah, such a pretty lady. The fuck did she see in him? Well, when you get love bomb, that's what happens. I think the custody case has everything to do with Sebastian missing, in my opinion. All right, let's keep going. We got a while.
On the table, or when she's having this baby, like my mom said, don't talk like that. Like, why are you talking like that? They're still here.
Right.
So we left again after a couple of days. We came home to Albuquerque. And still, I tried working it out where we were at, but it just wasn't working. I wanted out.
And I don't blame you.
And I had faith on my own.
And you know what? That's my point, thought criminal. You're absolutely right that Chris Proudfoot or Katie Proudfoot is quite happy to let Chris Proudfoot CP speak for her. It does work well for both parties. I agree. All right. And there's a reason for that. Right. And with her, like I said, if she's not credible and she's lying, that's on her. Just like at the beginning of the episode, we're like, no, there's no proof that Chris was there. Even the witness, there's no proof. Well, guess what? That's on them. If they're going to come out here and give up their integrity and give up their credibility to lie about something, it's going to come back and that's going to be on them. Right? Just like it will be on me if I lie to you guys and tell you, hey, I'm talking to Stephen Stearns. A lot of people were like, no, she's not, or whatever. They thought I was lying about the talking to law enforcement and giving them the leads on Jen Soto with Stephen Stearns. Well, guess what? Stephen's been talking to the state and he stopped talking to us about the details because of that. So when I say something, that's my credibility. And if you don't believe me, it's going to be my credibility that's in place. And I don't think that most people would risk their integrity to lie. If you're T-Rev, maybe.
Christopher called the hospital. I told him on June. It
Yep.
was June 1st that I got admitted into the hospital. And Faith arrived like at June 2nd, like about 3 or 4 in the morning. And he kept calling the hospital and saying that my wife is in labor, she's there. But Christopher was just so rude and hateful and just.
Are you surprised? That's how he is it's always how
he wasn't even there. So then he arrived a couple days later after I had Faith. And he was,
good job, Jacqueline.
The doctors and the nurses there were on high alert due to the fact that they heard Christopher over the phone on how he was being disrespectful to the nurses that were on call that night, as I was waiting to have her. And I asked that they not give him any more information.
Now, guys, I queued that clip up, 5D. I queued the clip up for exactly what you're saying. Chris and Katie enjoy everything they're putting Seth through. It's all orchestrated, and their cronies from YouTube are normalizing this and trying to force everyone to normalize it, and it's not. I agree. I have that clip. I wanted to show you first about Chris making fun of Seth when he was trying to get people to help look for his son. They dressed up like him, called him fatty, made him look like an idiot, but they really look bad because when you do something like that, what does it say about you? So I can show you that after this. It's like a 2-minute clip. If you did not see that on my last episode, I did show it, and he did it on 5D. I know you know who Cluminati is. 5D. He did that on her channel, literally through her camera. I love when some of you guys know what the streets are about. I don't like the streets of YouTube necessarily, but you got to see all sides in order to, in my opinion, I have to see all sides in order to decide what's going on and get the information.
So he arrived.
What a pair, right?
I had Faith. He arrived a couple of days later, like I said. And you could just tell the look on his face, like he wasn't happy at all. Like, didn't say, hey, you did a good job. Didn't say, I'm so happy that you brought my daughter into this world, like nothing.
Yep.
And I remember my sister was holding Faith and she had to ask Chris, do you want to hold her?
Yes, nanny.
Yes.
They do.
So she handed her over to Chris.
I know. That's wild, man.
And
What's up, Alexis?
He
Alexis
stayed there
good to
with
see
me
you.
for a couple more days because I had a C-section. And on one of the occasions, I can't recall what was happening.
Really,
but,
Trishy?
he was raising his voice and he was talking to me very disrespectful in
What
front
a
of one of the
surprise.
nurses. And she had told him, look, she just brought life into this world. She just got
Stop being an effing asshole, you mother. That's what I would have said. And Trishy, thank you. Chris called into Cluminati's pretending to be a cognitively disabled man. It was disgusting. And you know what, Trishy? That's just one of the many things that are happening on the YouTube streets. And Chris is all over them. And Katie's sitting right by him. Every once in a while, you'll hear that. My God, Jay, we get tons to send you. We got to send it over, baby. Send it over. I'm glad you guys are here. It's nice to have people that I can go back and forth with, that watch the stuff but aren't cronies. Like, I love you. Let me throw all of my money at you. I know there's starving children that need Christmas presents, but I'm gonna give you all my money for making fun of others. I know you guys know. All right, what's up, Doodle Mom? Good to see you.
major surgery and you're yelling at her.
Aw.
And I have a problem with that. She said, if you continue to do this,
I'm gonna kick your ass
I'm
out.
going to have to tell social services to come down here. And I'm also going to have to ask you to leave the hospital and
Kick
not
his ass
return.
out. Yep. If you know,
So at
you
that
know.
point in time, he kind of calmed down after he heard that. But unfortunately, that didn't last very long. He continued.
And everything so far is just love bombing to just straight up narcissist to showing his true colors. That's a piece of trash. When I was in the delivery room and my baby was being born, my baby guilty, my wife carried baby guilty. We did a C-section. I was in the room. I couldn't even think about a bad thought because my little angel was being born. That is so Anyway, Chris even went to Clues and dressed up like Seth, and that's the clip that I want to show you. And I've missed you too, twin mommy. I wish you would have emailed me. I wanted to help you out with Thanksgiving, but I didn't hear from you. Anyway, email me.
To do that. So social services at the hospital was told to come down. And he was pretty much, she said, you can't do that here. And she was really concerned for my well-being at the time and also Faith's, because, here is Christopher, dictating and telling me what I can and can't do and telling the nurses to do their job correctly and all these other things and raising his voice at me. And, so they had to step in.
Email me.
So she said, this is it. Like, you're going to have to leave the premises. And, and he got a little upset and he's like, no, I'm going to change. I'm going to be good. So, they said, okay, but we're watching you. We're watching you. So after that, we had left. They discharged all of us from the hospital and he didn't want to stay at my parents' house.
I agree.
Because my mom and dad live in a trailer and he doesn't like that. It's a house, right? Still. So he rented a room at Kirtland Air Force Base and they have like lodging there, which is like a house, old base housing. And we ended up getting one of those. And we stayed there for a while.
I mean, none of this is surprising, but I wanted to bring it out due to the things that have been happening. And Sabrina, I did message you back and I asked you if it's okay for me to post a picture of your grandson and let the crime crew help you with Christmas for him. So please email me back. Mike, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate that. He couldn't be the boss at your parents' Jay, you need armor, but it's good to listen to. Whatever. Whatevs. I've been fighting my way through YouTube since I got here. Bring it. All right. Remember, I covered the Madeline Soto case. It can't get much worse than that. All right. Let's keep going.
Well, I remember one night in particular where we all had went out and got something to eat to bring it back to the room. I had went into the restroom, I believe that's where I was at, and Faith was in her car seat, and my oldest daughter was in the living room with my son and Christopher. Well, anyways, I guess I wasn't moving fast enough for Christopher, but the baby started crying. Faith started crying, and she's crying, and I'm trying to get to her as fast as I can. And when she was in the car seat, my oldest daughter at the time witnessed this with my 3-year-old son. When she was in the car seat, he ended up hitting the car seat against the wall.
What a surprise.
And he's getting upset because she's crying. And then when she was in her car seat, there was a coffee table right there, and he ended up tossing her on the coffee table with the car seat because he was so irate that she was crying. And I said, hey,
if he can do this to a tiny baby that nobody even cares about, that's crying. When a baby cries, I'm like, oh, let me smell the baby and hold it. And see, who wants to throw a baby on the table? Imagine when Sebastian was out of pocket. All right. And Clementine, if you don't have any idea what's going on, we're going over Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife interview. And before that, I gave an update. Let's go. All right.
I said, what's your problem? I said, what are you doing? Like, she's a baby. She's going to cry. I wish I would have just.
I don't know. I don't see anything. I see them just traveling around, avoiding kids. Sebastian probably wishes he never met him either. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, Kiki.
I'm sorry. I should have left a long time ago. Because no children ever deserve this. My kids didn't.
And that's why if Chris and Katie ever split, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if it's just going to be blown wide open. Now, there's no criminal investigation in the Sebastian Rogers case, and I'm not sure why, but I do wonder if they find him, if they find his body, if that will lead back to those two. And I'm sure, in my opinion, it will.
So he left again to San Diego. A couple of days went by.
Oh, which we didn't know Chris Proudfoot.
Then all of a sudden he's like, well, why don't you move to Hendersonville? And I was like, why though? In my head, and I knew it was a bad idea. I just knew it. I knew it because our marriage was on the rocks. I wasn't happy.
Stick with your gut.
He wasn't a good father figure to my children. I don't know why I said yes. Well, anyways, so let me back up. So before he left back to San Diego, Faith was.
I'm not going back.
Faith ended up going back into the NICU. She ended up getting jaundice, and she went back to the NICU. So she was in the NICU, I want to say, for a week to a week and a half. And that was when Kathy, Chris's mother, came out, flew down with her brother, Duran Guy, or they call him Big D. They came down, and she was in the NICU. And that was when I felt like a plan was made, because like I said, our marriages it was on the rocks. And one of my neighbors had told me in San Diego, they had warned me. They had said, Dina, be careful, because Christopher is coming up with a plan with his mother. And they're planning on taking the baby away from you. And I was like, what? Like, thinking to myself, it can't be true from somebody that's supposed to love you, right? Like somebody that you're supposed to share your life with. Like, why would he want to take the baby away from me? And she warned me. But I was like, no, Why would they do that?
No, there's nothing more recent from this interview, but there is a recent update of Chris Proudfoot in Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. And if I wanted to go around on the YouTube streets and clip every single video that Chris has showed up in on every single channel, well, that might start a war, because those channels are not going to be okay, and I don't want to show their channels. Just like I feel about Chris's parenting going to Alaska after, or just completely moving from your house and traveling and looking at motorcycles and just having a grand time, not passing out flyers, not going to vigils, and making fun of Seth. All right. And of course, Seth isn't perfect. And I'm not like, oh, he's such a great man, but he is struggling with the loss of Sebastian. And he still has hope as a parent. I don't know. I don't think Sebastian's with us anymore.
So then after Faith got out of the NICU, we were no longer staying in base housing. We were staying at one of the NBC suites down here. Then his mom came up with an idea. She goes, well, since you guys, will be moving to Hendersonville. And I was like, I felt like, okay, well, maybe. And he's like, well, you'll get help. You're going to get help from my family. And, but I was already getting help here from my parents, with my other 2 children that they helped me raise. So that I went along with it. Like I said earlier, even though
I
knew it was wrong to go, I still went hoping that my marriage would work out. So she ended up taking Faith, although I was against it. Kathy Bowers-Hawks and
there you go,
her brother Duran ended up taking Faith. And my mom and dad were like, my mom started crying. She goes, why are you letting them take the baby?
Probably didn't want.
And I said, because Christopher said that it's going to be too hard for her to travel, to travel. And I'm sorry. They went back. So Kathy and Big D went back to Tennessee. So 2 weeks later, about 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, Kathy ended up coming back by herself. I do apologize. She came back by herself to pick up Faith. She was here in Albuquerque for one night, and even though I was against it, I let her go with Kathy, because Christopher said it was going to be too hard to travel with her being a new baby. So he came out from San Diego, rented a U-Haul, packed all our stuff, and we pretty much left. Yep. And that's how I ended up in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Big D. I knew someone was going to say that. The Big D.
That's when
the Big D helped.
My whole life changed. That's when my nightmare happened. We lived with his mother and his stepfather, Terry, for about a good month.
Now, before we go any further, if it was the beginning of Sebastian being missing, I might say, well, yeah, somebody, maybe they sent him away with his, family to Alaska, whatever. But for it being an international case now and huge repercussions if someone was doing that, and all the resources and all the things, I don't think anybody would put their lives on the line to be hiding Sebastian. And how would you even hide him? He'd be 16 years old now? 16-year-old autistic boy hiding? I don't think so. It's been over 2 years? Or almost 2 years, right? He went missing the day that Madeline Soto went missing. It just doesn't seem plausible, right? Not even at all. Yeah, what would they gain? Well, they would gain a hefty jail sentence, a hefty fine, and a bunch more. Their peace gone. I don't know how that would work, right? And him being trafficked, he's not what people are looking for in trafficking situations. That's like an anomaly. So those 2 things for me are ruled out. But hey, what do I know?
Because our apartment wasn't going to be ready until the end of August, about the end of August. So it was really uncomfortable living there. Terry and Kathy would always bicker at each other, and she'd be bickering with Christopher, and my kids were a problem, an issue. It was always something. I felt really uncomfortable, and I wanted to come home. I just wanted to come home to everything that I knew.
If he was put in a facility, law enforcement would have been notified that he's, in this facility. The parents wanted him there, and something would have happened. The facility wouldn't hide him out, and then now he's going to be 17. They're just hiding him out. There's no way. That wouldn't happen. It's not plausible.
I wanted my mom and my dad, even though I was a grown woman. I needed that. So
interesting. Faith. Right.
We all had to get along, try to for the most part, but it was just an awkward situation. I always felt like we were the outcast. Never felt accepted by the Proudfoots or the Bowerslocks.
Mama H.
On one occasion, Christopher was
Yes, Tammy.
cutting my oldest daughter's nails, and she didn't want her nails cut.
All right, here's another great
and Christopher, story. Grabbed a hold of her hand, and she pulled her hand away. And my daughter at the time had braces. He backhand Isabel in the face and busted her whole lip open.
There you go. What do you think he did to Sebastian when he got out of pocket? Do you think he was, told him to go eat milk and cookies and hang out? You're on a timeout, buddy.
I should have left.
Backhanded the shit out of him.
But I didn't.
What's up, Opal, sis?
And I was like, oh my God, like I can't be here. I don't want to be here anymore. So I would come up with every excuse just to come home, but yet, I couldn't come home. So finally we went and we moved into the apartment.
I know.
And a phone call, like as soon as Christopher was leaving, he settled us in, got a storage unit of what couldn't fit in the apartment. He got everything ready, all right. Him and his family.
Oh, I'm sure they did, and I'm sure his family and him are just like peas in a pod. And Doodle, yeah, we know that he hit him with the belt, and that's what we hear from them. What else happened that we don't hear about? Guys, while we're here, hit that like button. We had 420 people at the beginning. We're down to 360. If you come in, hit the like. If you leave, and then share it with your community. Thank you. I don't know if we hit our goal, but if we didn't, get a membership. You know the drill. Thank you.
As soon as he knew that we were comfortable, he left back to San Diego.
What a good
But the
man.
night prior to him leaving,
I know.
he had
He's an abusive.
Got a phone call or text message
control
that night, and it said something like, "Hey, baby," or around something like that, saying that when is your flight coming in? And I was like, what? Like, who's texting him? So I did confront him. And like he said on one of the podcasts is that I did slap him. Yes, I did slap him across the face because
there you go.
Who's he talking to at this time? And saying, and he could say that she was lesbian, up and down, but at this point in time, I didn't know what to believe. And I was like, okay. So then after that following day, he finally left. His mother came to pick him up to take him to the airport. And he went back to San Diego.
Right.
And I was left in Hendersonville with 3 children and pretty much no help from anybody.
did anybody watch this that is standing up for Chris, that he's such a stand-up guy? Did we not see this? Did we ignore the CPS reports and how abusive he goes and talks on these YouTube streets to a private eye that's trying to help him? Are we ignoring that? And Pretty Guy, that is one of my biggest faults in this case. This is one of my biggest, it's one of the biggest things that I can't get past is, where is that camera that you were watching Chris sneak snacks? I know that they had cameras somewhere. Where are those cameras? And what evidence are you referring to, sir, that there is none of? You know what sucks? Imagine how much they bash Seth in front of, oh, absolutely.
So I have found a job. I had a job, and
His money.
Kathy helped once in a while. And I needed to find a babysitter. So his biological father, Michael, and his stepmother, Linda, at that point in time offered their services and said that, they can take care of my 2 older children.
Yeah.
And Kathy didn't want Faith going over to Michael's house. So
they've said a lot of
her
leakage, right? Verbal leakage.
And
everyone's lying except Chris, right?
At that point in time, Christopher, we were still communicating. And like I said, our relationship, our marriage was on the rocks. So my oldest daughter had gotten sick and she has upper respiratory issues. So I took her to the emergency room in Hendersonville, and that's when Hendersonville transferred her to Vanderbilt. Is that what I believe that hospital's name is? And I was kind of frantic because I was like, well, what am I going to do with my 3-year-old son and with the baby? Like, who's going to help me? So I was, I called Chris and I told him, I said, hey, I said, can your mom watch, Faith, or can somebody help me? Everybody was so quick to help me at that point in time.
Except for Chris.
So
I wouldn't let him watch my
Faith
dog.
stayed with Kathy, and Noah Bryce went with his sister, Melissa. And I went with my oldest daughter. We got transported downtown. And so we stayed there. I can't recall how many days we were there. Yeah. And Christopher had, I'd check on the kids, see how they were doing.
You guys now might not be able to unhear this, but when somebody says kids are sneaking snacks, why is that a problem? When someone says that to me, or when I listen to an interview in true crime and I hear a parent saying a child sneaking snacks, it makes me wonder, why do they need to sneak snacks in the first place? The key word is sneak. Why can't your children just go and get their snacks? Why? But every time a parent says that, every time a parent's ever said that in a true crime episode that I'm covering, the child's abused, the child's underweight, the child's skinny, the child gets water and a piece of bread once a day, every freaking time. You're telling us, when you're saying that your kids are sneaking snacks and they're so bad and you have to lock the fridge, what you're telling us is your kid's starving. That's what I hear out of that. Just saying. Every time.
And that point in time, I was like, okay, well, we got discharged.
My
telling
girl,
everybody,
Carrie.
Okay, you can bring Noah back, and telling Kathy, okay, I'm going to be home, so you can bring Faith back. Thinking that my children were going to come home to me.
Yep.
I get back to the apartment complex, and I pulled into the parking lot, and I see Melissa just pulled in right next to me. It seems like they were already there waiting for me to get there. And then she said, I can't stay. I would love to stay, but I can't stay because I don't know what they were doing. And she does, my son gets out of her van. And then we walk inside, and I was waiting, for Faith to get there. And we weren't there but less than maybe 5 minutes.
Now listen, guys, we're still here. You guys are hanging out. Thank you. We're going to be here longer than usual today. Hit that like button, get yourself a membership, relax. Stealing food bothers me. And here's what bothers me. We're going to cover a case that already happened, but may have a new trial. Shonda Vander Ark, Timothy Vander Ark said the same thing. They had cameras in the house, stealing food. Well, I just got pictures that I've never seen from the case files of the Vander Arks, Paul, Timothy, and Shonda. And when you see the pictures of the kid that was stealing food, you guys are going to, every time you hear someone saying that their child's stealing food or something in true crime, you're going to see that's a huge red flag. When you see those pictures, you're not going to be able to unsee them. So, trigger warning, we're going to cover that soon. And my ghost account, you guys, guilty of crime, ghost, they'll be up on ghost. When you see that, trigger warning, it's going to be behind a paywall so you don't stumble on it. If you're already subbed up to my ghost, think twice before you look at those pictures. I've never seen anything like that. Never. It's scary. All right. So just again, I'm going to warn you now. Guilty of crime. I have a case. If you're interested in sharing it, absolutely. Kiki True Crime, send me an email. And I always promote channels on my channel, guys. I'm never afraid to say, go sub up to Kiki True Crime or go sub up to 5D. Hey, we should all be cool with each other. So, yes, go sub up to any creators in this chat. All right. It's all good. There's enough room on these streets for everyone.
And I hear a knock at the door. And I was like, oh, great. Faith is home.
Have you seen those
And it was Kathy's friend, Patty, that's an attorney. And she said, are you called me by my real name, Gomez? And I was like, yeah. And she said, you've been served. She said, you have a protection order against you. You can't see Faith.
Yep.
And Chris is filing for divorce. And I was like, what? So then I go back, and thinking like my heart just drops. Like, what? Like, is this a dream? Like,
a nightmare?
This can't be happening to me. Like, this cannot be happening to me right now. So then I get on the phone and I try calling Chris and he didn't answer. And then I was like, rushing around and
text me, Carrie.
I get my kids in the truck and I go to
Grandma Sherry.
I go to the Gallatin police department and I, was ringing the call button. And like finally 30 minutes later, somebody shows up and I told them what happened and I showed them the paper and they said, yep.
Oh my God, yes. Timothy Ferguson. You saw that one back? And I'm sorry to interrupt this, guys, but children missing, children abused, children, anything about children being hurt. Yes. Well, and by the way, thanks for being here, Wolfpack. I always appreciate you coming in. The pictures of Timothy Ferguson are the worst I've seen. She says, still can't get them out of my head, and neither can I. So please, please, please make sure that you're okay with seeing something like that before you click on them. I've never seen anything that bad either. And I'm not kidding. He was alive when those pictures were taken, and they are terrible. And we're going to cover that case. Shonda is trying to get another trial. All right, let's keep going. Sorry.
All I can think about is my baby. Like, how am I going to get my baby?
Bunga, bunga, eat.
Like, why is this happening to me?
No. Yeah, she ignored the red flags. We all do that at one point, though.
So I go to Kathy's house and I knock on the door.
Yes, there is.
And I remember I had Christopher's stepmom, Linda, on the phone with me. She was on speakerphone and I told her what was going on.
There you go,
Little did I
Jacqueline.
know everybody was in on this.
They were also sneaking snacks before they
went. And Terry answered the door.
Aw,
which is Chris's stepfather. And he told me that I need to get off of his fucking property.
Piece of
and
trash.
here little Noah was 3 years old and my Isabella is 7.
Right. Good luck with that, Shonda.
And they're standing behind me. And I said, please tell me what's going on. I said, where's Faith? I said, please give me my baby back. And he told me, get off my fucking property.
And you know what? It's not a surprise. Chris Proudfoot is like that. It doesn't matter what day of the week or who he's in front of. He's an asshole, but it goes deeper than being an asshole. And right there goes to show you. Mab, what's up? Get warm, my guy. We should collaborate on something sometime since we're right in the same area. And, well, I kind of like you. Anyway, let's keep going. Come on in, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. Carrie, send me a text.
And he took out a green and black baseball bat.
Oh my God, I know. Wolfpack.
And he told me to fucking leave or he's gonna bash me and my kids' heads.
Are you surprised?
So me and my kids walked out to my truck and we got back in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, what do I do? This is a nightmare. What am I gonna do?
Poor Timothy Ferguson.
And Chris was inside of the house with the baby. I saw his shadow. And they lied for him and they said that he was in California and he really wasn't.
I'm pretty sure she did.
So we go back to the apartment and I'm trying to gather all my thoughts together. I'm trying to keep as calm as I can for my other two children, but all I could do was just cry.
No.
And just think, like, what is my next move? What am I going to do now? I'm so far away from home. I'm far away from my parents. I'm far away from everything that I've ever known.
Now, listen, guys, when people do this, try to steal a kid that he never wanted, it's just because they don't want to pay child support. Child support nowadays is outrageous. If you go and have a kid and you don't take care of it and you go to the judge is going to take a percentage of that paycheck. A lot of people have kids that they don't want, and it's all for monetary gain. Right? That's what it is. It doesn't mean they want them. Why did these people keep having 5, 6 children and they're all dirty and starving? They're waiting for that welfare check. They're waiting for the food stamps. They use them for housing. It just happens all too often. And you saw the house. Their house was beautiful. They had that big old beautiful house with just them two and Sebastian. And what's the problem? Coffee and Dog Studio. What's up? Good to see you, my friend.
So then I make a call to my brother, who, he lives in Phoenix. And I told him what was going on, and he was so upset. And he's like, oh my God.
Interesting.
And he's like, have you called mom and dad yet? And I said, no. And he told me himself that day, he said, you're going to fight. You're going to fight like hell to get Faith back. You don't leave that baby in that state. You fight like hell to get her back, whatever it takes.
So many under your scars.
And that's what I did.
Well, and control. But the biggest thing is the money.
I called my mom and dad.
If they didn't have...
And it had to have been after midnight here, so about like 1 something our time there. My dad answered the phone. And I couldn't talk. All I could do is cry.
There's a witness that says they saw Chris. And I hope that this just came out today. So we're going to get that witness and verify that, right? We're not going to just say, oh, Chris was in Tennessee. There's a witness, but we're not going to tell you who it is. So I'm imagining these things are going to come out as we go. All right. And thank you, Kiki. Appreciate you.
I couldn't get the words out. And finally he said, calm down. Please calm down and tell me what happened. And I told him, I said, Daddy, they took my baby.
Man. Control and monetary. If they didn't have
all he
to
could
child
get
support,
out is, oh no, they hurt my baby. And he started crying. my mom up. And he said, "You hang in there, we're on our way."
Hey, this is who Chris Proudfoot is, guys. You think he's gotten better with age? I don't think so. Thank you, Nina.
So every single day, I worked at a local Great Flips out there. And I went in from the time it opened to the time it closed. That following morning, after all this had happened, I went to my bank account and to my savings. I've been saving money through this whole entire time, but I've been using it since we were out there so I can help support my kids and myself.
He has a mullet, James.
But little did I know that Christopher
Yes.
wanted me to use all my money because he didn't want me to have anything, so I wouldn't retain a lawyer.
Turtle Gang, hello. Thank you.
So that morning before I went to work and dropped my kids off, at the time, Michael and Linda, which is Christopher's biological father, and his stepmother were still helping me watch my kids because I still had to work.
Does anyone know how old Faith was?
And I went into my bank account, and I remember I only had $1,100 in there. And I was looking through the phone book or looking through,
Yes, and I will play that at the end. If y'all stay here, I'll play it again for you, all right? Yes, yes, and yes. And what's up, Astrology for Mystics with Jen? All right, let's keep going. We got a while.
my phone and seeing, well, I need to get a lawyer. Who can I get?
A lot of people know.
Thank God for Mr. Edwards, because I went into his office before,
Lace, what's up?
I called into work that day pretty much, and I said I need to just think. I said I need a day off. So I went into his office, and I ended up doing a consultation with him. And
You're welcome.
I remember him,
A baby.
he told me what his fees were, and he told me, I told him the situation. And he was in shock, and he goes, "My God," he goes, "This all happened, like, you should have never came out here." And I said, "I know, I should have never, should have never came out here." So at the time, I explained the situation to Mr. Edwards, and
choo choo.
I was crying. And I said, "Mr. Edwards," I said, "I just want my baby back."
Look at that Turtle Gang
And
there.
then I remember I still had my wedding ring on at that point in time. And I slipped off my wedding ring and I sat it on his desk.
You're welcome. I have more.
And he looks at me and I said, "Please, sir, I'm not doing anything just for my baby back." He said, "You're all I have. Please help me."
Please do me that.
I remember he took out his little magnifying glass and he looked at it and he put his head down.
I think so.
And he goes, "God."
Hey,
He
damn.
goes, "I work for money." I said, "And I know, sir." I said, "And I promise I will pay you every dime that I can.
Bobby.
Just help me bring my baby home."
Hey, you can't control a spicy
"You've got yourself a
Latina.
lawyer."
Thank you. Come on, Nina, you got this. We appreciate you for sharing this. We got your back. We know she's a spicy Latina. She's not going to let that fly for long. And many times, how marriage can be. So, or how we heard how he love bombed her, then he changed. Then she got stuck kind of because she had the kids. She wanted to make it work and it got worse and worse. But I hope she's doing a really good now. Nina, you got this. Thank you.
And he fought. He fought like hell for Faith. We went to everything happened in Gallatin Courthouse. My parents were there. We went to the first trial, and I remember walking in the courthouse and my stomach was turning. I hadn't seen my baby.
Love bombing, Turtle Gang. Love bomb and false promises. Thank you, James McConnell.
And they had my baby there.
Now, just quickly, let me tell you just a quick little story, right? Love bombing, and then after you love bomb, you show your real colors, and then you realize I didn't really want those kids, so I'm just going to be an asshole. And in my opinion, he was more than that, abusive, controlling, etc. That happened with me growing up and my mom. My mom was married to my stepdad they got together when I was 9. They split up when I was 18. He love bombed the crap out of her, love bombed us with gifts and whatever. About a year into the marriage, he already knew he didn't want kids. Now, what kids came along with him was myself and my brother. So once he realized he was in, my mom wasn't going anywhere, about 2 years in, he didn't abuse us, but he just didn't like us at all. And when you're 9 years old and you're trying to gain that affection of a step parent and earn their, just earn their whatever, you want to get them, you want to be close to them because you're a kid, and they totally turn you away. And then Chris started being abusive. That's what I see in this opinion. And I've witnessed it. I'm sure many of you have witnessed it. Step parents, it goes both ways. Just be careful. James, thank you. So anyway, that happened. I've seen it happen.
Just in arm's reach, and I couldn't even hold her, and I couldn't even kiss her, and I couldn't even tell her I love her.
Adoration. Go a little past this.
I think I made a mistake by coming out here. I made a mistake.
Yep.
By trusting somebody.
Of course, you love bomb the kids. Then the mom's like, "Oh, I love you," and then the real you comes out. That happened to me.
And I said if I could change back the hands of time, I probably wouldn't have even came out here.
Luckily, I wasn't abused.
And they did whatever they were doing, and
he was an asshole. He didn't really.
The judge, said that I only had visitation with Faith, and they all had to be supervised. So then the supervised visitations started happening, and we would visit Faith. And I remember one visitation that had happened.
Does anyone that's following this case really close, like every single day, know if he's still, because does he still see his kids? Does he, him and Katie run around like they don't have a care in the world. They have nothing to do. They're just free birds, right? When we see them, they're just out and about doing stuff, traveling, talking shit, calling into shows that they have no business. Where are the kids? What's happening?
At a park. I can't recall the park's name.
No, I wouldn't.
But there was a duck pond and really nice playground for the kids.
Yep.
I remember Kathy showing up with Faith.
Said, "Fang, what's up?"
We all sat there, got Faith out of the car seat. I was loving on her and kissing her, and telling her how much I love her, how much we missed her. And I handed her to her big sister. And I took a picture of those two. And my oldest daughter was crying.
Okay. I would not want to do that. I would not give any.
We only had about, I believe it was between 20 and 30 minutes of visitation with Faith. once a week, if I'm right. There's a lot of things that
Exactly.
after so many years, it's hard. Like, I would just remember like the big things that happened, and that was one of them. It's between 20 and 30 minutes.
Okay.
And my son was there.
I saw that too.
And then Kathy got her ready to leave.
Chris didn't look like he was enjoying any time with Sebastian. None of those pictures
They
look.
had to leave first, and then we left after. I remember holding my son and my daughter's hand, and we were walking back to my vehicle. And my son started crying. And
What?
I started crying, and then my daughter started crying. And he said, Mama, I'm going to run super fast, Mama. I'm going to go grab Faith, and you meet me on the other side of the park, Mama. I'm going to run so fast, and then you drive off, Mama.
Thank you, Nina Drew, for the $1.99 soup. This is heartbreaking, and it just shows who Chris is.
At this point in time, my mom was going to testify against Christopher.
I know.
My son was going to, no, my daughter was going to testify against Christopher. And they had said, his lawyer at the time had said, yo, don't let her daughter testify. And so we went without it. Nobody testifying that day.
Yeah.
Christopher had ended up getting,
Hey,
he was talking at the time. Judge was asking him all kinds of questions. And
when this is done, I'm going to show you that clip of Chris dressing up like Seth, calling him a fatty, acting like he was fat, mocking him. If that is not somebody that gets off on somebody else's pain, I don't know what is. I mean, when he does that, he thinks it's funny. The whole community thinks it's funny, but that is not funny. It just shows you, and you can see it, y'all. If the people that are here in chat that go from channel to channel and are, see the YouTube streets, they find pleasure in other people's pain, period. All right? It's disgusting.
he made me look like a monster.
Of course he did.
He made me look like I was the problem.
I can't stand Stinky Foot. Thank you.
He made me feel
Woo. Too away from the
awful
goal.
about myself and saying all these things in front of these people that weren't even true. It wasn't even true.
Imagine the things he said about Seth in front of Sebastian.
And then it came to my attorney talking. And at that point in time, I was just like, gosh, like, oh God, please let a miracle. Just like, let this just be over with. When people tell lies and when they say hurtful things about you, you just feel so disgusting about yourself.
Yeah, they do that.
And that's the way I felt.
Like,
and I remember we needed.
I mean, and his abuse didn't stop, and whether Katie's the one that did it and had him help, or somehow they both did it. When you see Katie in interviews with Chris, please pay attention on her demeanor, on her posture, how he holds her hand. It's not a holding her hand. It's like, make sure you don't say that. She doesn't even look in anyone's eyes. She looks down and again, I'm not giving Katie an out for what's happening here, but what I'm saying is that takes a toll on your mental health, on your self-esteem. That's what happened to this lady that she's talking about.
To break and come back. And Mr. Edwards at that point in time went into the chambers with the judge. And I don't know what was being said, being done back there, but he was in there for a while. And
thank you.
He ended up coming back out. Court was back in session. Everything was, we were going back and forth again.
Choo-choo.
And at some point in time, the judge just had enough. the judge was done hearing everything that had happened. And
Thank you. Come into Alfred Turkey.
Christopher, was speaking, and the judge just said, that's enough. Like, I don't want to even hear what you have to say anymore. He's like, you premeditated this. This was premeditated. You knew exactly what you and your family were doing. You brought this woman out here with her children, and you guys knew exactly what you were doing.
Of course.
And he said, 8:30, Gallatin's Sheriff's Department, that's where the exchange is going to happen. My heart.
Oh man, it's hard, guys. And yes, listen, guys, we're in the spirit of giving. It's going to be Christmas soon. It's coming fast. We're going to be doing things for y'all, giving stuff away. Tiff wants to give you a guilty of crime ornament tonight. So you tell me how you want to do that. When we're done, we're going to give you guys one of our guilty of crime ornaments. They came out so cool. All right. So anyway, just hit that like button, get a comment in, and Tiff, I don't know if they need to be a member or not, or if it's anybody, but just let us know. Choo choo. Plant Lady, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Trishy, love your straightforward, no drama coverage of these cases. You are a shining star. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Let's continue. Let me go a little. I don't want to see her just crying. Okay. I don't want to see her crying at all. It hurts.
The courthouse the other way. And right there, and then I hit my knees. I finally could be relieved. Like a big, like, oh my God, we did this. And he said, 8:30, go pick her up. I said, thank you, Mr. Edwards. I said,
I don't know.
I owe you my life to get you helped me get my baby back.
Congratulations, Kiki.
So then we went back to our truck, and we went back to the apartment. We packed what we could. And we pretty much left everything else behind in the storage unit.
Hey, Kimberlyn, are you new here? Anyhow, my name is Jay with Guilty of Crime. If you're talking about me, I think my name is right up there on the left. It's Jai. And welcome to the crime crew. All right, let's keep going.
At that time, I didn't need anything.
Okay. All right.
Because I had everything I've ever wanted. So I remember my dad saying, come on, we gotta go. So we went to the sheriff's department.
Hey, Mama.
And we showed up, and I remember I told my dad, I said, wait here. I said, stay at that Wendy's.
Welcome, Wilma.
So my dad stayed at that Wendy's waiting for me, and he said, okay, he's like, you call me when you're on your way so I can follow you out, okay? And I said, okay, Dad. We got to the sheriff's department. Christopher and his Michael, Linda, Kathy, Big D, Melissa.
Big D. Don't laugh.
The whole entire family was there.
The Big D.
So then the exchange was happening. And they live streamed me on Facebook.
Tiff, can you text me a picture of those ornaments?
I said, I can't. They said, I can't believe the judge awarded her custody.
Hey, Cheryl, thank you.
You know, and I was just standing there, I remember, and I said, can I have my baby back, please? And I remember his mother had her phone in her hand, or his mother, yes, and she had a brown paper sack full of diapers and a dirty bottle.
Hey,
And
lovable
she threw it
mama.
at me. And she said, I think you're going to need this. Laughing.
What a piece of trash. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We
And I
know
said,
that.
thank you. And my two younger children were sitting in the back.
Thank you. The Stinkfoot family.
And then
Uh,
I said, okay, can I have Faith back now?
look at that.
So
That was not me that said that. I said you have pretty eyes, Jumpas. Somebody said this guy's hot. So if that really is you, doesn't matter if it is or not. Thank you so much, Jumpas, for the 10 Guilty of Crime memberships. I hope somebody that likes to be here gets that membership and it doesn't go to a bunch of trolls. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you.
I forget if it was Kathy or Chris, but they tossed her at me. And I caught her. And I said, thank you.
No.
So then I get her in her car seat, trying to buckle her up and telling my kids, I said, you need to buckle up. I said, okay, we're going to leave. I remember at the time, my front door had opened at that time, and Christopher got inside of my driver's seat of my truck. And everybody was still filming, live streaming me on Facebook.
Are you single?
And Melissa Proudfoot had said,
Yes.
why don't you put it in reverse and drive over her?
And I'm sure
and I
he
told my
would.
kids, I said, get out.
He's an
I'm
abuse.
trying to get Faith out again. And I told my kids, and I remember he put the truck in reverse. And I told my kids, I said, get out. I said, jump, get out. And I remember them getting out as fast as they could. And we're running into the sheriff's department, and I had Faith. And I'm running, and I'm yelling, and I'm asking for help. I said, somebody please help me.
How do you think
nobody came out?
How do you think Chris likes hearing this? Do you think that he's over there telling people that she's a piece of trash, a liar, and she's the one that did this? Or you think he's owning up to it? This is terrible. People don't change. And the ones that do, you either progress and you get worse into this, which remember, this is a long time ago, years later. Well, we've seen what he's become. So never mind. What's up?
And then finally, he came in, Christopher, behind me. And they finally opened the door. And they put me in a back room with my kids.
He's not owning it, I'm sure.
They turned the lights off on us. In the process of me calling my attorney to tell him what was going on, Kathy disconnected my cell phone. And I remember Mr. Edwards calling the police department and telling them they need to let me go. And at the time, Christopher was still in the military. And Mr. Edwards, I remember them telling him, you need to she needs to go because this could possibly cause Mr. Proudfoot his career.
Mr. Proudfoot.
So at that point in time, I got escorted outside by a couple of sheriffs that were there. But I mean, they seemed like they knew each other, all of them, the Proudfoots. And I remember Christopher had asked one of the sheriffs if he could say goodbye to Faith, and I said, absolutely not.
Yep.
So I remember getting in my truck after I got the kids in, and I called my dad and I told him what happened. He was so mad. He goes, he was lucky I wasn't there. I'd have knocked the shit out of him.
Get it. Get that strength up.
Said,
Fight
I said,
back.
all right, Dad, I'm coming.
Such a piece of shit, man.
Well,
Thank you for being a member.
everybody followed me down the interstate.
Yep. Strutting
My
around.
dad and I were weaving in and out of traffic, trying to lose them. The whole family were following me and Dad about 80, 90 miles an hour. We were going down the interstate just to get away from them.
Now, listen, what I can see happening from his family is them helping to cover up where the body is. But you got to remember, the more people that get involved, the more likely it is that someone's going to turn and you're going to get caught. Just like the case that we covered yesterday, where 4 people, right, cut the baby out and etc. By the way, the Rebecca Park case, 2 of those people bonded out today, guys. But the more people, the more chance you have for somebody to say something, and especially after 2 years. So either they help. I don't think they have Sebastian. If they do, he's abused and very. I mean, we need to find him now, right? But maybe they did that. Maybe they helped cover it. Thank you for covering. And Nina's story is heartbreaking. It is, girl mom. Welcome. Well, we're going to cover the corruption
We drove all night.
next. Law enforcement corruption.
We finally got to Little Rock, Arkansas. And Dad had asked me, are you tired? I said I could see if I could try to sleep. We couldn't sleep. So then we drove all the way home. We were all scared. We didn't know what was gonna happen.
No.
We drove.
Right?
The relief that I had just to see, I've never felt.
And guys, welcome Seth here. And we are definitely I've been putting the FBI flyers up on my episodes. That's Seth Rogers, and that is Seth's handle. He says, please hand out the FBI flyers for Sebastian, guys. All right, you guys all welcome Seth. Say a prayer. And if anybody, especially you local people that have been involved in the case, please help a grieving father out. He needs all the help he can get. If I were close, if I weren't in California and I was in that area, Seth, I would be out there with you, handing flyers, right there with my loudspeaker, doing what you're doing. So thank you. And we appreciate you being active in the way that you are. Please help bring my son home for me. We're on that, Seth. We really want that for you and for Sebastian. He deserves to be home with you.
So relieved to see that New Mexico. Welcome to New Mexico time. I was finally home. Finally, we made it. Chris kept calling, and I avoided it. Avoided him like a plague. Because the judge in Tennessee awarded me custody. He had no jurisdiction over Faith or myself or my other 2 children. And at the time of all this, they brought CPS involved in that case over there. So we get home here, not even a couple days goes by. He ended up calling CPS on us here.
Of course he did.
And using CPS against me every chance that he got.
Sure.
Showing up to my kids at school.
He just an RN.
Scaring my kids. Just like he did in Tennessee. So I filed for divorce here, which I should have filed on tribal land at the time.
See how complicated this
because
gets?
I wouldn't be going through this.
Why is Katie not out there handing flyers?
So the
Why-
divorce happened, but it dragged on and on and on because Christopher made a big deal about absolutely everything.
Yep, little man syndrome, Chris. Little man with a big.
I had to ask for permission to
Yeah.
leave Bernalillo County. I had to tell him what I was doing, and if I left New Mexico, he had to know. I am part Native American, so our reservation is probably about 4 to 5 hours from Albuquerque. And at the time, my grandmother was still alive, so we would go out there to see her. And he really never wanted me to take Faith out there.
And by the way, if you're still in here, or if anybody knows, did I miss something? Seth, if you're still in here, Sebastian's birthday's coming up. I assume that you'll do something. Let us know if anybody local out there is local in Tennessee and can help pass out flyers or attend whatever I'm sorry, Seth plans to do for Sebastian's birthday. We want to raise awareness. And guys, let's bring Sebastian home. It's been 2 years. It's been 365. Yeah, it's been 644 plus days. All right. Wyatt, good to see you. I'm glad you are here. Better late than never.
And on top of that, he really never wanted Faith to be Native American.
Yep.
Christopher knew that I was Mexican American and also Native American, but he hated the fact that, and he still hates the fact that Faith is part Native American. So just everything. He would take me back to court for just everything. It wasn't a good divorce. And the parenting plans, it had to be his way or nobody's way. He had to have the last word, and this is what he wanted. And his attorney made sure that's exactly what he got.
And it's still like
a lot of times I gave in because I wanted it to be over. I didn't want to have to.
Thank you. Or
have somebody dictate what I can and can't do. I mean, I've been a mother for an X amount of years at this time, and it wasn't like, I'm new to all this. But everything had always had to have been Christopher's way.
And it still is.
And even though I gave him what he wanted, it was something different. Oh, Faith can't wear leggings, or, just the stupidest things, or, it was dumb. I can't even recall how many.
Why would they? They didn't show up at the vigil. They didn't go and support Seth trying to put the word out, find Sebastian, get FBI. Why would they want to bring him home when they're the ones that have something to hide? In my opinion, I don't think Katie and Chris will do anything public or even private. They'll probably be on the YouTube streets talking shit about whatever Seth is doing. That's what I'm not psychic, but that's what they've done thus far. So let's see.
Hearings I went to with Christopher, it's been horrible.
I'll keep that up there.
So at this point in time, I didn't really agree to the parenting plan. I didn't like it, but I signed it anyways, just because I wanted it to be over with. The divorce was finally final. And he was still stationed, I believe, in San Diego at this point in time. He was.
I have the FBI
If
link.
I'm correct, he was already living with Katie when we were still married. We were going through the divorce, but he had moved in with her. And I was pretty surprised how fast he moved on with his life. Like we never mattered. Like,
oh wait, but fast, move on fast. How about Sebastian went missing? We know he didn't take anything, no glasses, no shoes, took a little flashlight. How fast did they move on? Also, just saying.
Like Faith was like, he never had a family.
I'm gonna find that FBI.
But I should have known that as well. prior to the marriages before me, like how he just moved on so quickly with his life. So
Done.
he would take Faith out there when she was little, like for 2 weeks or a week. And, you know, Katie and them would be living the family life. I, at the time, did not know Sebastian or Katie. I would just see Katie through FaceTime where she would be doing something in the background. And I would ask Christopher, like, you know, I would tell him, I can't believe you've moved on with your life so quick. Like who does that?
Katie and
Well,
Chris.
back and forth we would be going, you know, with Faith. And I finally moved on with my life.
Good. There it is.
But Christopher had made a statement the other night on one of the interviews, the podcasts that he was doing. And I didn't like the way he said this. You know, how he called my moving with a man. Like, he knows this person's name.
They divorced, I think.
And he deserves to be called his name, not the man. And remind you, I've known Wayne for over 3.5 years. He was my client before we even got exclusive, like being in a relationship, before we even moved in together. He knew I had children. I mean, just so for him to sit there and say that, he basically made it sound like he didn't know this person. He does.
Damn, Holly.
So here we are. Faith is 6. I'm still living in this nightmare that he's created.
Hey, Brenda Sue, good to see you here, my friend. Welcome.
We live in fear every single day. We're constantly watching over our backs.
The FBI link is in chat.
My kids don't even know what a normal childhood should feel like, because they were exposed to all this at a very young age. The awful things that other people could do.
Yep, soul shine. They just moved on. Now we understand a little more. Just so
my oldest daughter said it best. She said, "Mom, I feel like I was robbed of."
Oh man. Yeah, listen, we're going to show you how it was a huge joke to them after this, all right? Huge joke.
My childhood because of Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Because of everything that he's done.
Good to see you.
I've had to grow up so quick to protect my siblings.
I'm glad you did.
And you protecting us and always living in fear. Being called to the office and wondering if Child Protective Services was there. She's 15 now and still hates to go to the office because of everything that he's done.
And that happens. You carry this trauma. Boston supports Lana. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. A lot of people don't go on to the dark side. The only reason I go there is because I was introduced to it when I went on Turtle Island. I didn't know any of these people. And now that I do, guys, yeah, Katie and Cluminati went and got their hair done last week. That's who they hang out with. Clue and Cletus and all those people on the that you guys avoid. Well, keep on doing that. All right. I could reach out to Nina. Absolutely. I know that there's a custody thing going, so I'm not sure if she would talk, but I certainly could do that. But yes, those creators from that side hang out with Katie and Chris. And as a matter of fact, that's where Chris was when he dressed up like Seth.
And his family has done. I feel helpless.
Yes.
Because
they don't claim that.
I feel like I can't protect them enough. And I wish there was more that I can do.
Really, Sweet Pea? You seen Clue at the search and she was rude? Well, I'm
We're
not.
still living in this nightmare.
Yeah, Queen Biatch,
We're still going to court.
felons, and criminals. That's who we want to
He
talk
still
to?
complains about everything when it's not his way.
I agree.
In the beginning, there was CPS called. He used Child Protective Service on me because of the divorce,
Damn, man.
to get my children taken away from me.
I'm not surprised, though, by any of this.
He has a friend that works at Albuquerque Police Department as well.
Now, listen, are you hearing this? Because Chris also has law enforcement friends and ties in the community as well. And that's what we're going to be covering, the police corruption in this case. That's our next episode about Sebastian. And of course, we're going to honor Sebastian for his birthday. That's coming up next week. But I want you to know we're still on this. We're still covering it. And we're going to continue as things come out and to remember Sebastian. But I'm so glad that the lady that reached out to me was the lady that actually was approached and somebody tried to extort her saying that Sebastian was in Mexico and if she pays that lady reached out, so we're going to cover that. And astrology, Clue was rude. No way, I don't believe that at all. What do you mean? That's the help channel. Don't they help you? What? Oh no, wait. You guys just throw money at them. People want to just throw money for rude people. I get it. Is that like a Dom thing? All right, let's keep going.
I don't know if he still keeps in contact with him. I believe so.
Rude? No way.
He was told to do a welfare check on us one night,
The help channel.
but he
guys.
didn't take the call, probably because
Yeah, they help.
he knew both of us. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know how that would have been used against him either. I guess maybe he was worried about that. Just he's been filing for full custody, Christopher, for about a year to 2 years now, if I recall. A lot of this stuff is just, it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. It's not right.
He's made a mess. He tells people that I'm unstable,
Of course.
that I need a psychiatric evaluation,
You gotta turn the tables, right? Gaslighting is
that
real.
that I'm pretty much crazy.
Of course. Why not?
It's been a nightmare. And the reason why he's pushing for full custody is because
He doesn't want to
I
pay.
moved Faith out of Bosque Farms Elementary to a Native American academy in Albuquerque, where my youngest son goes and my oldest daughter goes down the street to a high school, and it's a minute away. So I was trying to make the commute easier for all of us. All my kids are in curricular activities. My son's in football. My Faith cheers for her brother's Yaffle football team. So practice. My 2 older girls are in Mexican folk dancing, Faith and her older sister are in Mexican folk dancing. My children are in 4-H. So my kids are super busy, and I work in the city as well.
Hey, Miss
So
Gloria.
trying to make my life easier, I decided to put her there. And he did not like that, him and his attorney. So they're pushing for full custody about that.
Yep.
I mean, I can't even recall how many other nonsense issues have been brought up.
Of course.
My children, myself, I mean, I'm over it. I'm tired. This has worn my whole entire family down, my children, myself. All this is like the first thing I think of when I wake up and the last thing I think about when I go to sleep.
That sucks, man. Trauma. It's gonna be with her forever. I wonder how she feels about Sebastian.
There's no words to explain this feeling.
And we don't want to ever know that
I
feeling.
mean, and on top of that, we were supposed to go to trial March 5th, I believe it was. March 5th. And the first one, March 5th. I went to court January 2nd of 2024. Continuing cases, I had to pay for his attorney fees because I pulled Faith out of Bosque Farms.
Mhm.
Although I contacted him through email, he never replied to me.
Yes,
I contacted my lawyer at the time. He never replied to me. So what was I supposed to do? I mean, I had to do what was in best interest for Faith and everybody else. So I ended up paying the legal fee for Christopher because his lawyer complained about that. So then we went to trial. We got a date for trial. Boy, I was furious when I left my lawyer's office. I feel like I hire all these lawyers that that never took the bat for Faith and listened to anything that I have ever said. I've always told people in the past, the people that were working for Faith and myself, the kind of person that Christopher really was. Nobody listened.
We're listening.
He's hurt my children. He's hurt my son. He's backhanded my son as well and busted his nose open when he was 3 in the car seat in San Diego.
If he did that to a 3-year-old,
he did that to my daughter. He's hurt Faith in the car seat, like I said. It's fallen on dead ears.
Oh, we know it's a while ago.
It's coming up on 7 years.
It's still Chris's character.
Nobody listens to me. Nobody knows the pain that a mother that I've went through. Nobody knows that I live in fear.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Nina, because it does show his character.
It's like back and forth. It's like a game to Christopher with Faith. Christopher dangles Faith over my head as if she's like some kind of toy to be played with.
That's what narcissists do.
She's not a toy. She's a little girl.
Good to see you.
That has feelings. And strong feelings. We can't help the fact that Christopher decided to move to Tennessee. He chose that for himself. I've never known of a person that lives in a whole different state and still dictates what you can and can't do to the other parent. He had a choice to live here. He was actually told to move here.
Why did they have a camera in her room,
judge,
but not with Sebastian?
But he lives in Tennessee. He tells me pretty much what I can and can't do still to this day by that court order.
And he tells Seth what he can and cannot do, and Katie what they can and cannot do. He tells YouTube what they can and cannot say, right?
Going back to the trial.
Absolutely.
He's getting prepared.
But where's the footage of Sebastian?
And
yes.
I get the call. You get a call. And at this point in time, I'm not talking to Christopher. We don't, I want to make that loud and clear. We do not have
a relationship.
A good co-parenting relationship. We don't talk on a regular basis. I refuse to talk to Christopher because everything has to be his way. I don't entertain any of his conversations. In the past, when I used to, and I thought that a relationship between him and I, and we're learning how to co-parent and it's good, it backfired. It kicked me in my ass.
Of course it did.
Everything that I told he used against me in court.
They
all
had
the time.
So much. They
Every
had so
single
much time.
thing.
They had a lot of time to get rid of the evidence.
I had to learn not to trust him. I've had to. I don't talk to him. So for him to say on some of his podcasts is that we have good,
lies. You have a
parenting
good
skills, or we don't know how to talk to each other. I refuse to communicate with this man.
And guess what? I'm sure that ate him up when he knew that Seth and Katie were co-parenting just fine until Sebastian went missing, and all of a sudden he's not allowed to talk. That's only the most common courtesy thing that you could do if you're co-parenting with someone and the child goes missing. Give them a call. You don't have your husband call when you were communicating before just fine. That's not right. And if y'all don't see it that way, I hope you see it that way now. What happened after Sebastian went missing that caused Seth not to be able to talk to Katie without Chris dominating the conversation in the room? He's not asking to go with Katie and go get a hotel with her and be in a room by himself and have her undress so they can talk. He just wants a conversation with the mom, the other parent of Sebastian. Is that so much to ask?
So he calls me Wednesday, and he's like, and I was like, oh great, he's calling. So I just went straight to voicemail. And then he had said 911, call me. So then I was like, well, it must be emergency, so let me call him. I called him and I said, what's up, Chris? And he was like, he's like, Nina, I gotta tell you something. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to tell me that the trial, we're not going to go to trial, that everything is going to be done with, and we don't need to worry, and we can, we don't need to do all this stuff. I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
They fooled me, right?
And then he tells me, I got to be open and honest with you. And then he pauses like for 6 or 7 seconds, and I'm like,
the dramatics.
Where I was like, what? Why do you have to tell me? So then at that point in time, he tells me that Sebastian went missing. And I was speechless. I have to say, I was speechless. And then I went into saying, well, what happened? Like,
yeah, what happened?
How did he go missing? Like, what happened? And he said, well, he went missing between 12:30 and 6 a.m. And I'm like, it's thinking to myself, and then, like, that's crazy. And I said, don't you have security cameras, Christopher? I said, you have security cameras in your house? I mean, don't you? And he paused. He didn't say anything. So then I said, what happened to your dogs? They said, don't your dogs? They said, you have those Yorkies, or, and I said, every time that I call Faye, they said they're barking. He didn't say nothing. So I said, I said,
what did you
are you lying to me? I said, because thinking in my head, like, are you just buying more time for this trial that's coming up? Like, what other information are you going to find out that you're going to use against me, right?
Yep.
So then I said, I'm going to look this up. And I said, have you contacted your lawyer yet? I said, we still have a trial. I said, at 8:30 next Tuesday. And he had raised his voice at me, and he said, we're not going. And I was like,
damn,
don't raise your voice at me. You're not going to disrespect me like that. You're not going to raise your voice at me.
Why not? It works with everyone else.
So then I said, by law, I said, I have to contact my attorney. And I said, I'm going to email him as soon as I get off the phone with you. And I'm going to tell him that there's a missing child. And I had stated, like, okay, well, is there like something, we could do? Can you send me like a flyer? Can you send me something? I said, I could put it on my social media and it'll take off. Like, I have a lot of people that I know and a lot of my clientele. I said, we're willing to, they share a lot of my stuff. So he never sent me anything.
Of course not.
And he was so worried about his phone, and he had said something. He's like, you know, the fucking cops had my phone, and I had to call Faith, and I told him I had to fucking call my daughter. And I said, Christopher, I said, you need to calm down. I said, Faith is fine. She is with me. I'm her mother. I said, she was with her family here. I said, you don't need to worry about her. You don't need to worry about her whatsoever.
No, I didn't.
And
12:30. Interesting.
and he wanted to say more, and he repeated himself again, and he said, I need to be honest with you. And I was like, Christopher, I don't have time for this. I said, I just don't. I said, I gotta go.
He just wants to control every situation. And we see that on YouTube.
That was it. The conversation that I had with him.
Damn.
I keep kind of beating myself up. Maybe I should have stayed on the phone a little bit longer. Maybe I should have let him talk. But with the experiences that I've had with Christopher in the past, I just couldn't trust him.
It's
So
not like
then
say anything anyway.
I contacted my attorney the next day, and I told him what was going on with Sebastian.
Pictures.
I mean,
exactly, Rachel. Exactly.
I was hoping that, you know, and I keep hoping, and we're praying every single day for his return home. But the more and more days that had passed by, the more and more that I got, you know, like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Like,
can you imagine having a child with someone where the child that's in their custody, in their care at all times, goes missing? And then furthermore, you know that they're an abusive person. You know that they've hurt your children. You know that they've hurt you. And this poor woman has to send her child to go and visit with Chris. And you know what she's thinking. You know she's thinking, this motherfucker's abusive. He's done this to me, to the kids. She's thinking that he had a part in this. And yet, Jumpos, they didn't find any cameras in or around. But you know what? 2 years later, almost 2 years later, FBI is currently still asking people that are in the area to find footage, to any witnesses, to keep an eye on a car or cars that were in the area. That's what their current ask is. Why didn't they do that in the beginning? I feel like we lost a ton of time, you guys, in this case. And they frankly, I think that law enforcement in that area is corrupt. They should take them off the case. Anybody that's connected to Chris or Katie, that should not be allowed, in my opinion. But we're going to talk about that on another episode.
And the things that didn't make sense to me was why Christopher and Katie aren't looking for Sebastian.
Ding, ding, ding. Let's just move.
I don't know, but I know if one of my babies went missing, I'd be out there searching night and day.
You wouldn't go look for a motorcycle during the vigil? You wouldn't dress up as the father that's trying to help? You wouldn't be on the YouTube streets making fun
I
of?
don't know how somebody could just sit at home.
They did.
And just wait for your baby to return. When I'd be out there looking every single second, I'd be out there by horseback. I'd be out there by a golf cart, by whatever I can get my hands on to get into the forest and look, or wherever in these neighborhoods, wherever I could possibly go.
Yes.
I'd still be wearing the same clothes that my son or daughter went missing in.
You wouldn't move away from the house?
I'd be running on adrenaline. All I could think about is the time that happened to me when they took Faith from me.
To the crime crew.
I couldn't eat.
Yep.
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even drink water.
Yeah, mob crew probably.
I lost so much weight. And I knew where my baby was at.
Yep. And you knew, because that's why you lost weight, because you knew your baby was with Chris.
And this hits home for us because of Faith. Faith's known Sebastian pretty much half of her life or her whole entire life.
Yep. Yes, contact FBI if you're local and you have
I
tips.
feel for Seth. I feel for his family,
Yes.
the Rogers family.
Amen, Nina.
I'm in shock.
Thank you, Sam, and welcome.
I can't believe this has happened.
Yes, Sally.
You know, and Faith asks me, and she talks about Sebastian, and
Welcome, Sam.
and she asks me, Mama,
where's Sebastian?
are they gonna find him?
Damn, that's traumatic in itself.
I'm telling you.
I think something happened that night on
I talked to Seth on a parent-to-parent level.
Hey, Allie. I'm glad you talked.
And we talked about some things that, you know, we shed some tears together, and just the pain in his voice.
I see the pain in his voice.
It hurts.
Amen.
But I've been.
What's up, my guy, DJ?
Everybody, I feel like people now want to listen to me. People now want to hear my voice. When I've been saying.
Yes, I know.
The hurtful things that were done to my children and to myself. Nobody wanted to listen to me before.
Bingo.
And now that this baby is missing, you want to listen to me now? You want to ask me questions now?
Yep.
Like I feel.
Go rest, brother. Get some vitamin C, my guy.
I just feel helpless. Like I don't know what to even think anymore.
Oh, you know what you.
I see all these things that are being said, and
yes.
The things that people say, and you know, they have every right to say that. They have every right to speculate.
Especially when we hear this, right?
Just like I have. I've there's so many things that I've thought about in my head, but I mean, I've saw the things. I've sat back for a month literally and watched everything and followed every possible thing that I can, listened to what people have said, podcasts, like everything. And
now look, here's the thing. When you're in true crime and you see this all the time, Wyatt, you're right. And we're talking about 911 anyway. If you call 911, you get more eyes on the case. When you don't call 911 and you phone in a friend, it reminds me of the Murdochs. If you guys know about the Murdoch family, he killed his wife and his son, and then he phoned in. He called into the police, but they knew who he was. He called all of his friends up who contaminated the crime scene. We're so lucky that Murdoch ended up being prosecuted because outside eyes looked at the case. But I got to tell you, when you phone a friend about a case and you're not calling 911, you're not getting the proper law enforcement eyes, they did that on purpose. Yes, exactly. It wasn't called. In my opinion, it was a friend. Katie didn't do it. Again, we know how I feel about that. When you don't call 911, it's because you don't want to use that. You don't want them to use that as evidence. Like Jen Soto, she didn't call. She had her mom and her sister. She didn't want that coming back on her. All right, let's keep going. I know you guys have been here for a long time, and me too.
I needed for my voice and my story to be heard of my experiences with the Proudfoots and Christopher and Katie.
Corrupt.
Katie jumped on that bandwagon, or that Christopher and everybody else was on. Just like this past December 27th.
I did. I watched that whole series.
Katie was going out to Hendersonville to see her family for the holidays.
I saw the Murdaugh trial.
We drove her to the airport. We were all happy. We all got out. Isabella, Noah, Wayne, myself, got her out of the truck, and we said our goodbyes. We hugged her. We kissed her. There's Katie standing there recording everything like she always does.
She's just as nasty as Chris.
And I hug my baby tight. I tell her I love her. And we prayed. We asked God to keep Faith safe.
Thank you.
And bring her home safe to us.
I know.
So as she went with Katie, I had somebody that Christopher, Katie, and his.
Now, real quick, if you guys are new here, and I do see a lot of new people, I have been here since the Madeline Soto case started shortly after. So I'm coming up on 2 years. We're going to celebrate my 2 years on YouTube in February. So Boston, I was covering the Madeline Soto case simultaneously with Sebastian, but I didn't pick Sebastian's case up right away because I was covering the Madeline Soto case. So long answer, short, been here for almost 2 years. All right, let's keep going. It is not over, Carrie. The fat lady hasn't sung yet.
Lawyer hired. His name is Michael Tinker. He served me with paper.
It'll be 2 years in February, darling.
And he tapped on my window, and I just rolled it down. And he said, "Are you so-and-so Gomez?"
Aw.
I said, "Yes." "Why?" He said, "Because you've been served."
You're welcome.
And the first thing I thought of was, they're going to take Faith.
Yeah. Delphi too, a little
I
bit.
got out of that truck so fast, and I ran into the airport. And I was yelling through the airport that she was going to kidnap Faith.
Yep.
Katie and Faith were standing at the Southwest counter, and I told them, I said, she's going to kidnap my baby. I grabbed Faith on the left side of her hand, and I ran with her through the airport. And all I could think about is, I got to get back to the truck. And here comes Wayne, Noah, and Isabel running through the airport just to come and see what was happening. And oh my God, my mom, like
I hope so.
First thing she thought of was like, and Wayne thought was like, oh my God, Nina's gonna just lay her out. I ran by, and Katie was coming right up behind me, and the guy, Michael Tinker, he stood there trying to flag me down and still trying to serve me with paperwork. In that moment, I'm just thinking about, they're going to take my baby and I'm never going to see her again.
And they didn't
So
even
I got to the truck.
Just control, guys.
I called APD. During the holiday season, APD is at the airport. So they came within like 5 minutes. Officer Cordova had showed up and was talking about asking questions like what was happening, and asked if I had a parenting plan on hand. And I'm like, wait, I mean, when I'm just supposed to carry my parenting plan? I mean, and he said, is it his time sharing or yours? And I said, it's his. But I said, why am I being served? And still at this point, Michael Tinker was still trying to give me my paperwork, and I wouldn't take it. So he got very upset, lifted up the windshield wipers and threw the paperwork right under there. At this point, my kids are crying.
Oh,
I'm crying hysterically. And there's Katie.
Yes, DJ.
Smiling away and recording everything. Then the officers.
Katie's the same kind. You hear that? We don't know much about Katie. And the last episode that I did had the recording where Katie's true colors came out with the PI. And I bet you she never thought that was going to come out. Every time we see Katie, she makes herself seem like she's meek and quiet and just a grieving mother. And then you see this. And then you hear her yelling at somebody that's trying to help find Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers. We see you, Katie. We do.
Like, Ms. Gomez, you You have a court date coming up.
You think? Faith is why Sebastian
And
would.
if you don't want the judge to be upset with you, you need to let her go. So I get back out of the truck. And we all do. And I get down to Faith's level. And I tell her how much I love her.
Yes, the perfect couple. Yep.
And that mommy is going to always keep fighting for you. And don't ever for 1 second think that mommy does not love you.
Yep, Rachel, you got it. We see you, Katie.
I hug her so tight.
I bet she hates giving her daughter up
I don't know
every
if that's the
time.
last time I was going to see my baby.
Right?
I handed her off to Katie.
It's not rocket scientist.
And she left.
All right, trigger warning, guys. We're getting to the end.
I could
And-
barely breathe when I got back in the truck.
Bingo.
Trying to think about
Thank
what
you.
do I do now? What do I do if she doesn't come home? How am I gonna get her home?
We're almost done, Janet.
Faith stopped. And she looked at the truck driving away, and Wayne looked back, and she probably thought, is that the last time I'm gonna see my family?
Yeah, but she didn't. She hides it well. There's corrupt everything
That whole
everywhere.
day, my whole world was turned upside down.
All right,
I thought about everything that played in my head, like a movie.
I don't want to see her cry, but I don't want to miss what she's saying either.
So Christopher's lawyer, Christopher, Katie, they all knew what they were doing.
Of course they did.
They premeditated this again. They wanted me to go crazy. They wanted me to say hurtful things so
Gaslighting.
they can go back to the courthouse and to the judge and say that I was unstable, that I'm mentally,
Yep,
something's wrong. And
that's what they do. They're doing that on YouTube as well.
that's what they did.
Bye, Patricia.
Christopher and Katie and his attorney asked that I get evaluated by a psychiatric doctor.
I think she might be. Is she a teenager?
Because I ran through the airport saying that she was gonna kidnap her. But in my mind, I've been traumatized by Mr. Proudfoot and his family. And I brought back trauma.
She's only 7-ish now. Okay. So Faith is only 7-ish, according to Jenna. I can tell you
No, I mean, we're at this point
about the Maddie Soto case, but this one,
where Sebastian is missing. And everybody, the judge and
she has to be 16 or 17.
other people are telling me, don't talk about this issue in front of Faith. She's too young. She's traumatized. Christopher doesn't talk about that to her. He doesn't tell her that her stepbrother is missing. Not once has he said anything to her about it.
Damn, of course not. He doesn't want to talk about what he did, right?
I think Faith needs to be aware of what's happening.
Hey, Michelle. I don't know. I couldn't send her.
She did talk to Sebastian when she had FaceTime Chris, and
Thank
he
you.
was at his house. She knows him.
Country is cornbread, huh? I really don't know what to say at this point. Like with Sebastian missing and the situation with Faith. Yeah, absolutely.
It's been an ongoing situation. I was unaware that Sebastian's father was getting him. I was unaware that he was going to live with his father permanently.
He was going to go with Seth. Remember?
Finally, that was disclosed to me about a week and a half ago. I was in shock because I went like, how can you know that you're getting your child for full custody? Like, I mean, you and Katie were preparing for this. You're giving away one kid to get another one. Like, I just,
Right?
I never understood that. I still don't understand that. I was in shock when I heard that. And I also, it's sickening to think that, and to think that you would be getting a child. Why would you take Faith away from everything that she knows? Her mom, her siblings.
All right, guys, we are almost done. I do want to document this before it gets gone. The original creator deleted all his stuff. The place that I found it was JLR, and it's nice that he's just playing it so we can watch it. All right. And, I see you guys. I see some of you saying, why would she say anything if she's scared? But guess what, guys? She's going to say something so that we can see how Chris is, hopefully. And I'm sure she's thinking that Chris had a part in this with Katie. And if she speaks out, maybe at the time law enforcement would step in and do something. And in that case, she wouldn't have to send her daughter over there anymore. So what good does it do her to not say anything? And I understand what y'all are saying, but I'm glad that she spoke out because we get to see who Chris really is. All right. So yeah, it's better if for me, in my opinion, I would do the same thing, scared or not. Being quiet hasn't helped. She had a little bit of hope.
Wayne dad. She says, that's my daddy Wayne. Her grandparents, like everything. I don't, I was lost, and now the more and more I find out, it just makes my stomach turn even more. Like going back to this court hearing that we had.
Yeah.
We never got an extension on the restraining order.
You would think it would help because then.
But I believe that we should have. I did, because I don't know what Christopher nor Katie or the Proudfoots are capable of doing. Including
everybody in the Proudfoots. Guys, we're almost done. We're going to show a quick clip of Chris and his character and him dressing up as Seth, all right, and mocking him for looking for his son. And then we're going to give out a guilty of crime ornament. So stay here, hit that like button. If you're doing something, just let it play. That way you have a chance to win. Thank you.
It's, for all I know, they could take Faith from school.
Corrupt law enforcement.
I do right now have temporary full custody of Faith till we go back to court.
I think he just has visitations, right? You guys said summertime.
I talked to Seth. And I've always told him, I reach out to him and I let him know, we're here, whatever you need. Let us know how we can help you.
I
And I remember him telling me the first night that I reached out to him, or he reached out to me, and he said, you can help Sebastian, and you can help me by keeping Faith there and keeping her safe.
Can you imagine sending your baby to that house knowing this, you guys?
When you hear that from another parent and the situation that's going on.
Yes, CM, you'll see it after this. If not, you guys can go back and watch it later.
You say, like, I'm doing the best that I can, but it's the justice system here.
It's corrupt. Hey, April, Illinois.
My biggest fear is that somebody's going to make the wrong decision for Faith and she feels so scared. And what am I going to do?
Damn.
What if something like this happens to my baby?
And who knows what's happening? Who knows what's
Are
happening?
you going to tell me I'm sorry?
We know.
I made the wrong decision.
Nope, because they didn't treat it as a criminal case.
The justice system has failed a lot of kids, has failed my kids, and it's also failed Sebastian.
Alan Jackson.
I've been fighting this since Faith was a newborn, and I'm still fighting it. I don't know what it's going to take.
They need to
I
be.
don't really think anybody really cares the decisions that they make for children, because it's not happening in their personal family. They don't know somebody. It doesn't hit home.
But she's the bad guy, right?
It'll never happen to them.
She's the bad guy.
A lot of these people have always told me,
we're almost done, guys. I know it's
don't
hard.
show your feelings in court. Don't be emotional. So I'm just supposed to sit there without feelings, without crying, without telling people how I really feel?
No, girl, do it. We need to know. Everyone needs to know.
I feel like a lot of these also, because there wasn't enough creamer in their coffee for, a lot of these judges that make these decisions, and maybe they got angry that morning or whatever the circumstances are.
Maybe Chris knew somebody. Maybe he was buddy.
They make bad choices for a lot of these children.
But they do. I know. Can you imagine?
And I won't let Faith be one of them. I will always fight for Faith, like I have been.
I'm tired of the runaway story. I'm tired of people saying kids ran away. They do run away, but
I wish people would open up their eyes and listen to when people are saying it's not a good idea. I don't think they're stable. I don't think that they're a healthy parent.
Faith is her God.
Wrapping up, folks.
Just like what happened to Sebastian.
All right, she doesn't know what happened to Sebastian. We're wrapping this up.
Story. So it can get out there. Because it still haunts me to this day. It haunts my children. It haunts our everyday life. We don't live a normal life.
Chris and Nina's daughter is Faith.
We're always living on the edge because of Mr. Proudfoot.
Mr. Proudfoot and Mrs. Proudfoot, a proud feet.
His mother wanted to pay off the daycare, buy them some new playground equipment, just so Christopher and his mom can stay there longer to see Faith.
Money talks. Money talks, guys. Connections. You got connections. You got some money. Like the Sotos. I'm telling you, Yolanda Soto has connections in that town.
I'm sure.
Thank you, Kiki.
I mean, my mind is all foggy right now because thinking about everything that I've went through. I'm sure I left some bits and pieces out. But I know what I've experienced, and it wasn't a good experience at all whatsoever. So that's our story.
All right, we're going to end with that's our story, guys. We've been here for a really long time. We documented this. The link is in the description if y'all want to watch it. I'm going to play this real quick for you. It literally the recent, let me pull this up. I don't want to put let me pull this down real quick and put this up. All right, we're going to go over that 2-minute clip from the recent last couple of months where Seth was pleading to find Sebastian to help, was out there by himself. There was only a couple of people, and Chris goes and dresses up as him and mocks him on Clue's channel. And you're going to see that right now because it's on Clue's channel. And if you guys are from the YouTube streets and you don't know Clue, that's okay. We don't need to. If you do, then you'll know what I'm saying. So let me get to that. My internet's not wanting to give me my videos. And then we're going to give away the Guilty of Crime ornament. All right. Christmas is coming. And yeah, a lot of people need stuff. And we're going to do that too. We're going to be giving stuff away, etc. Let me pull this up for y'all. Chris Proudfoot dresses up in a sheriff's outfit with handcuffs, mocking Seth, looking for his son. All right. They made a complete mockery out of that, by the way. Complete mockery. So I played the clip on the last one. Seth was out there looking, had his if you guys don't know, he was out there in Tennessee with, I can't even remember, microphone. All right, this is them mocking him.
A year and a half has gone by, with no confirmed sightings or positive leads in the Sebastian Rogers case. Many are believing that law enforcement dropped the ball on this case from day one. Those responsible for Sebastian's disappearance are still out there, free as can be. I don't for 1 second believe that Sebastian was abducted, or that he ran away on his own free will. Chris and Katie Proudfoot were recently seen at a reptile show, purchasing a $500 lizard. A lot of people were appalled that they continue going out, doing everything except search and advocate for their missing son. A couple of days ago, Chris's actions were cast in the spotlight again, as he appeared on YouTube channel, dressed as a fake sheriff, even...
All right, so there you can go. They said the YouTube channel, they're not trying to, give the channel away so you guys can go subscribe. All right, that's him mocking Seth.
Going as far as to have handcuffs on his belt. At Night Investigates released a statement that reads, At Night denounces the latest reprehensible actions of Christopher Proudfoot, who reportedly dressed as a fake sheriff in a shameless overnight mockery that further exposes his utter contempt for the gravity of Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. This grotesque display of juvenile antics, amid 18 months of anguish for Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, and dedicated volunteers, is nothing short of despicable, and reveals a man more invested in provocation than in seeking justice for a missing child.
And listen, on the video that I did 2 weeks ago, if you guys go back and watch the Sebastian video, I pulled that clip right from the channel, and you can see the ski mask, which is what they use on that channel. And he's through the ski mask on her camera, mocking, and they're totally just making fun of and calling him names. All right. And I just put up the ornament. You guys can also go to guiltyofcrime.com and look under the merch. You'll see all the ornaments. We're giving one out. NorCal, Gal, thank you so much for the $4.99. Jay, thanks for covering Sebastian. Appreciate your take and all the bad actors and shenanigans. Prayers for Sebastian, guys, and let's help Seth. Let's help Seth. Pass out flyers if you're local, whatever it takes. All right. And Brenda Sue, I am so glad too. Yes, that was on Cluminati. Cluminati is friends with the Proudfoots, Proud Feet, whatever you want to call them. Supposedly, she went and did her hair last week with Katie. They are total friends of those channels. They pop up. I heard them pop up. That's what brought me the megaphone. Yes, Darlene. Thank you. I couldn't think of that. What brought me back to this case was seeing that on their channel and the awful, awful rumor that was spread. Then that brought me to that, the attention of this. Yeah, Cooter Feet. Jenna Bug, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Bring Sebastian home. All right, let's finish. This is almost done.
His behavior speaks volumes and proves yet another mistake.
Hold on. If you guys weren't here at the beginning, if you want, I can play that again. I can play the clip where they confirm that Chris was in Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. He was in Memphis, Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. So let me know if you guys want me to play that 1.5-minute clip. If you missed it, I will play it again. Hit 1 if you want me to play it again, and 2 if you just want me to move on and give out the ornament
in the FBI's latest release, painting him as a victim of tragedy when in reality, it showcases a pattern of callousness, alleged abuse, and obstruction that demands immediate scrutiny and accountability. We are appalled by this heartless farce, which not only inflicts additional torment on those tirelessly searching, but also erodes public trust in the investigation. Chris Proudfoot must be held responsible for turning a family's heartbreak into his personal circus, and we call on law enforcement to investigate this as potential interference or harassment. To the public, your tips and evidence are crucial. Continue flooding our secure channels with any footage, witnesses, or details related to this incident. At night we'll relentlessly pursue the facts, exposing those who mock suffering while a boy remains lost. Justice for Sebastian cannot be derailed by such vile clownery.
All right. But they want it to. All right. One more thing, and then we're going to give that away. I'm going to play that again just so you guys can say whatever you want about it. I'm not going to have a discussion about it again. You guys can discuss this after outside or in chat right now. Let me play it. It's real quick, and then I'm giving away. Hit the like button, put a comment. We're going to do the giveaway right after this. And if you want your name in the drawing, you got to, interact somehow.
So I'm not sure if you guys have seen At Night's recent post on the Sebastian Rogers case, but they are claiming now that they have independently confirmed that Chris Proudfoot, Sebastian's stepfather, was in Memphis at work during the time frame that Sebastian Rogers went missing. They say that not only do they have an eyewitness who saw Chris Proudfoot in Memphis around the time that Sebastian went missing, but they also have him on video surveillance at St. Jude working on his vehicle, specifically his truck, which they say is now being re-examined at his residence to confirm ownership. They go on to say that this does not rule out the possibility that others also traveled to Memphis. We confirmed several other factors that have shifted our focus to other individuals previously unthought of. And right now their focus is on non-resident individuals, meaning not Katie or Chris Proudfoot, and vehicles that are in the neighborhood of Sebastian's residence and the area of Chris Proudfoot's work, which at the time of Sebastian's disappearance was at St. Jude Children's Hospital in Memphis. So Chris was in Memphis reportedly, and although he was not on the clock and physically working in the middle of the night, he was seen by an eyewitness and he is seen on camera, allegedly. So this doesn't rule out the possibility of Chris Proudfoot having knowledge of where Sebastian is or what happened to him completely, but it does indicate that he was not physically in Hendersonville around the time that Sebastian Rogers would have gone missing. Obviously, this is something that Chris has been saying since the very beginning, but the fact that At Night is now saying they have proof that Chris was in Memphis between February 25th and February 26th.
And I've always thought that they were establishing an alibi by Katie being on the phone. I think he was talking her through something. I think the fact that Chris was like, I was there 3 hours and 13, I don't know exactly, but minute. People do that when they're establishing alibis all the time. All right, it's almost over. We're going to give it away. We got a couple
I would say that that's pretty big. So I'm not sure if you guys have.
All right, good. That's it. All right, we're going to now cleanse our palates, guys. And we're going to give away a guilty of crime ornament to anybody. As long as you live in the United States, then you can win. You don't have to be green. When I say you don't have to be green, you see all those? You don't have to be a crime crew member. You just have to be here. All right. That way we can tell you where to get your ornament from. All right. Do you want to put your email up there for them? He wanted to be seen. Exactly. All right. I got thank you for saying that. All right. Blessed Lulu, are you here? Yes, you are. Blessed Lulu, you are not a crime crew member, but you got lucky today. You're a crime crew subscriber and you just won a guilty of crime ornament. All right. So are you in the United States? I'm pretty sure you probably are. There you go. guiltyofcrime.merch@gmail.com. And before I go, let me just show, I wanted to quickly show you some things that we have and whatever. If you guys, whoever wants to have been here too long, I understand. I just want to show you the store really quickly so you know what we have. All right. Is she good? Did Blessed Lulu, are you good? Congratulations to you. You're going to love it. They're not cheap ornaments. She does a phenomenal job with those. And that's Tiff, our mod, and she does the merch. All right, so you're good. Let me pull this down, and I'm going to show you something real quick. Let me just show you the store. You guys don't forget, also, please go sign up for ghost.org, Guilty of Crime. That's where you get, she answered, so we're good. Thank you. Ghost.org, you get more cases, and you can sign up for free. You get still same coverage, different cases than I have here. And we put documents out there, and a lot of documents. There's a trigger warning with the images and documents. So be careful. All right. Be careful what you click on the Ghost channel. Anyway, yeah, we got to, like, Tiff makes anything you want. So if something that you don't like or you want moved around, she'll do it for you. We got the Bluetooth tumblers. I got one next to my desk. I'm always wearing the hoodies. Tank top's too cold right now, but see something, say something. Fantastic quality beanies, little things. We got mystery boxes, cups. Oh, this one's great. The trolls be gone. And I'm trying to show you guys the ornaments, but there's a lot here. So anyway, the ornaments aren't all up, but there's a couple of them, and there it goes. That's what they look like. They're made of, it's like a glass ornament, I think. And the printing is phenomenal. Everything about the merch store, she does a fantastic job, Tiff. So thank you, Tiff. In one interview, Smiley states he had not seen Sebastian since the beginning until the morning. I saw that. Then that means he saw Sebastian the morning he disappeared. Yes, I saw that, and I've been all over that. All right, congratulations to the winner and everybody else. Like I said, please go sign up for ghost.org to get lots more coverage. Jay is covering a case that's public, and she has every right to exercise her freedom of speech. This just shows the heart she and her mods have for Sebastian and the missing kids. Thank you, 5D. I appreciate you. All right, guys, is the store in the description. The store is just guiltyofcrime.com. But it's not in the description. It is guiltyofcrime.com and Guilty of Crime merch store. Here it is. I would just go to guiltyofcrime.com and click on merch. I think they might be ceramics, but anyway, Cheeky, good to see you, my friend. Good night to everybody. Thank you to everyone that donated, super chat, super sticker, all that. Hit the like button. It's free to do, and I appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. My voice is going to be gone, and I got to save it for tomorrow. The ornaments are ceramic, guys. Everything in the store is really high quality, but the prices are not high. So go over there, hit your girl up. All right. Love you guys. Jay, what's the Ghost channel? The Ghost channel is, and I pulled it up a little earlier. It's ghost.org, Guilty of Crime, but I'll drop you a link real quick to it. Ghost.org, Guilty of Crime. Hold on. I don't know if the mods already dropped it for me, but it's free, and we cover lots of other things over there that you guys don't see on my channel because they don't all make it to my channel because, well, I only have time for one case a day. All right, here you go. It's right there, guys. Guiltyofcrime.ghost. Just go to ghost.org and type in Guilty of Crime, or check out the link. You guys won't be disappointed, I assure you. Have a lovely night. See you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. All right. If I forgot something, I'll do it tomorrow. Love you guys. Good night.
Guilty of Crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of Crime.
Are you guilty?